playoff pulse in real time. This ain't the same soft squad from years past. These Leafs are hard-hitting, shot-blocking, sandpaper strong, and built for the grind. Defensive tone-setting swagger locking it down. This team fights back. And the crease, a stellar duo of flashing leather. Strong forecheck, no free ice. Watch what happens when the big guns get loose. The playoffs are here, and the question isn't if they're tough enough. It's how deep this grit can take them. Let the snot drip.
You know, we need a little bit more snot to our game, and I think they both bring a little bit of that. So we felt it was a good day yesterday. And I think there's a, you know, when you get into, as much as the game's changed, some things have never changed. At the most important times, the rink shrinks. There's no space. You need courage, and we wanted to, you know, we wanted to add players like that. We've got really high level, and I think we've got a ton of them in this room. You need character in your team, and sometimes you need some characters. You know, it's not all fighting and all the rest of it. But I just felt, you know, both on the ice and in our room and around our team, we need a little bit more noise.
The past is the past. This is a different group. Every year there's new people. Every year you've got experiences from, you know, the year past. So that's what we're focused on right now. We're focused on this group of players, things that we've done here this year, and all that now gets parked. At the beginning of the season, everybody starts from zero. Same thing now. Everything that's happened in the 82 games is to prepare you for what's coming next. But none of it is relevant. And none of it gives you any kind of leg up starting Sunday. So what's happened before is what's happened before, and now we're ready to let a new chapter.
Yeah. I said, oh yeah. How we feeling, Leafs Nation? Game 7, round 2, with a chance to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Your Toronto Maple Leafs ready to lay it all on the line and show the grit, snot, toughness, and resolve they came to play with this year. This is not like Leafs of the past. Are we excited? Are we hyped? I'm feeling good. For me, the keys to the game are the same as they've been all series. Hard on the forecheck, smart passes, strong outs. Let's see some body checks, lots of shots, get some screens, and by all means, play as a team, for each other. Every puck matters. This is it, y'all. Are we ready? Game 7. Almost ready for puck drop. Coming up in the next few minutes. This is Blue SNOT. Go, Leafs, go. Live. Remix. Let's check in.
Under 30, you don't have any memories. This is it for you.
Yes, not to date myself, but that was a year before I got drafted to the National Hockey League, right? And again, I was a little bit jealous I didn't have the opportunity to play for the Toronto Leafs, Maple Leafs. Despite, there was some up and down years, they've done a great job drafting the last 10, 12 years now, and this is sort of now the opportunity to get the fruits of their labor and continue the legacy of the Austin Matthews, the Mitch Marners, Tavares, and the Nylanders. So history, not saying it's going to be written tonight, but it's a step in the right direction with a great performance. Win, lose, or draw, leave it all out on the ice, and that's what the Leafs faithful ask for. That's all they ask for, Cats.
So I would suspect, we got about a minute to go here, I would suspect that both teams are going to play their system and just wait for something to happen.
I think so. It'll be a little bit of a rope-a-dope, back and forth. I don't see anyone trying to land a knockout punch. I do not anticipate any extracurricular activities, as we do not want to get behind on a penalty kill early on in the game. And I can barely hear myself talking right now. And turn the volume up here, but again, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go.
Well, let's just take a listen to this. Pump up the volume there.
Fans are live. We are live. Let's go, Leafs Nation. Support your team and give them the motivation they need in spirit. Put a Go Leafs Go in the chat. I'm gonna throw one in the back. Looks live. They look hype and excited for a strong game. We need the Leafs to build on that momentum. A lot of positive, a lot of high energy. We are moments away from puck drop after these national anthems. How we feeling, Leafs Nation? I'm still hype. I'm gonna throw another Go Leafs Go in the back. Let's go, Leafs go! Go, Leafs, go. Go, Leafs, go. Go, Leafs, go. Last game, Austin Matthews had the game-winning goal, the first goal of the game. Max Pacioretty put in the insurance. Joe Wool had a strong game. Chris Tanev was a monster on defense. And how about the resolve of Matthew Nyes playing through that injury and being here for Game 7? And also, Stolars is on the bench backing up Wool. Now that's some good news, Leafs fans. That's a lot of positive energy we get to bring into this game. The anthems are done. Before we get set for puck drop, I just want to remind y'all one of my favorite parts of last game. And that was when Chris Benoit, going to my wrestling days, Simon Benoit acting like Chris Benoit and laying the smack down on Brad Marchand, catching him with a bloody nose on the bench later. Oh, it was too sweet. We ready for game time? Let's go, Leafs Nation. Let's go, Leafs, go.
Off at Game 7, and the puck is dropped, and we're underway, and glad you're with us. Fired into the Leafs zone right off the hop by Mikkola. Down into the corner and swung around the boards for Marner, who chips it to the slot area. A backhand shot, stopped by Wall, goes around back of the net. Marner trying to find Matthews there, and it didn't connect. Now he has another opportunity, and he's just going to flip it out into center ice and down into the Florida zone. Leafs are changing, and Nyes remains out there. Leafs have the exact same lineup as in Game 6, other than Anthony Stolars is the backup goaltender. It rolls down in on goal, and Wall will leave it there on the near boards. Played out at center ice, and now Tavares. An odd man rushing over the line, looking for a man in front, and a good defensive play made there by Gustav Forsling. Back come the Panthers at center ice. Played in on the right side with a long shot in on goal that Wall directed wide of the net. Another pass in front of the goal knocked away by Carlo. Into the corner, comes back to the blue line. Ekblad with a shot that deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Panthers on it quickly. They'll get it back to Ekblad again. Ekblad stopped, plays it around the boards back of the net. Riley couldn't trap it. It goes into the far corner, and a centering pass is intercepted by Brandon Carlo, who gets it ahead to the line, but Pontus Holmberg couldn't get it out. Here's Ekblad in with a shot. That goes high and wide. Good pressure here from Florida. Down around the boards, it's going to come to Riley on the near side, but he can't drop it past the pitching defenseman as it comes back to the blue line. Kept in now by Kulikov. Back of the net, trying to come out in front of the goal. Back into the far corner, and Marchand is onto the puck. It's cleared to the side of the net, and back to the blue line again. Kulikov again with a shot. This one is deflected up into the screen and out of play.
The Leafs have got to be very careful. We saw this especially in Game 5.
Yeah.
Where the Florida Panthers defense are going to come charging down the wall, and any kind of outlet opportunities up the boards. And the Leafs got burned on that twice. As the Florida Panthers look to reestablish their game, Paul Maurice said after Game 6, he said, we were just slow. We were slow getting the puck to the net. We were slow getting it on the forecheck. And Florida looks quick here to start this game.
Face off in the Toronto zone, controlled by the Panthers. They carry down around back of the net. Cut off there by Benoit, who got it to the line, but not out. A long Marchand shot goes off a stick into the corner. Back to the net, Carlo. Tried to reverse it. It comes free to Lorenz, and Lorenz outlets ahead for Benoit. Benoit will roll it towards the net. Handling it for the first time in the game there is Bobrovsky. Now the Leafs trying to get some forecheck going. Into the side of the net for Lorenz. He drops it back into the corner. Leafs onto it there with Yarncrook tying up his man. Cleared off onto the left wing side and brought to center ice now by Tkachuk, who sends it down into the Leaf end. Leafs are back in their own zone. McCabe to Tanev. Tanev flipping it to the line. Kicked away there at the blue line. Knocked back on the far side by Pacioretty. His effort to get it deep didn't get far enough, and it's brought back into the Toronto zone now by A.J. Greer. Now back to the point, a shot that goes off the leg. Pacioretty swiping at it to get it out, and it gets ahead to Domi, but he can't get it over the line. It's brought back, and Domi steals it right back, but he gives it away as he tried to send it into the corner. Played back out at center for Greer. Greer will send it down into the Leaf zone. Slowed up by Wall. Played into the corner for Morgan Riley, but his speed for Domi didn't work, and now here's a pass in front of the net, and fanning on it was Sam Reinhart.
Get on that puck, guys.
Playing it around back of the goal now for Rodriguez, who's back into the lineup, and a point shot is deflected wide of the Leaf goal. Barkov in the corner. Lost it. The Leafs are going to get it out in center ice, only to have it shot right back in again. Now the Panthers waiting for teammates to get onside, and a shot is blocked away by Wall. He's been the busier of the two goaltenders because nothing has been directed at Bobrovsky as yet. Benoit getting it ahead, but that struck Nyes in the back of the leg and didn't get in. It's cleared back down into the Toronto zone. Oliver Ekman-Larsson playing it around back of the net. Benoit played it up along the boards, topped out at center ice, but there's Florida with it again. Here's Bennett sending it back into the Toronto zone, trying to get their forecheck game going as it comes into the slot for Seth Jones on his backhand. Curls to the forehand. To the point, it comes now to Mikkola with a shot that's deflected wide. Mikkola with it again. Back of the net and back of the goal. Tkachuk taken to the wall, and the puck comes back to the point, but it is kept in by Florida. Around back of the Toronto goal it goes. Near side for Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe with a shot. That deflecting. Where'd it go? Oh, onto the far side. I think it must have gone off the screen. Did Pat save, and a good one made by Wall. Love to know where that went. Back to the point, another shot deflects off the side of the goal. A centering pass comes out in front, and it's knocked away, and the Leafs are finally going to get to it and launch to center ice. They have been under siege here. Panthers into the side of the goal and around back of the net. McCabe unable to get to it, trying to come out in front. Tkachuk in a shot. That was blocked. There's a rebound in front of the goal. Where's the puck? It's grabbed off by Toronto. My goodness, what a start here for the Florida Panthers. And now
gives it away.
And the Leafs are into the defense again as Marchand goes back to the net. Tried to get it in front, but couldn't. Puck is shot, and Wall stops that. And everybody take a breath, especially on the Leaf bench.
Well, you would figure usually it's the visiting team that has to withstand the first 5 or 6 minutes on the road in a Game 7, but this has been the other way around. The Leafs, Jake McCabe, Morgan Riley, and a few others have had blatant giveaways here early in the opening period, so maybe from a Leafs standpoint, they've got to survive themselves in the first 5 or 6 minutes to get things going. 5:27 in, the Leafs have not handled the puck in the Florida zone.
And they've not even had a shot on goal. The one that rolled in on Bobrovsky's been taken off the board. Domi will take the face-off. Lost it. It comes back to the point. Another shot in traffic is blocked by Wall. And the Leafs finally get it up on the left wing. And Riley trying to play it through center. Can't get it in. Cleared by Kulikov back into the Toronto
They made it past
zone.
center ice yet?
In along the boards now for Brandon Carlo.
You know the Panthers are going to bring the pressure. You got to play some tight D. Weather the storm and then bring the momentum back your way.
There by Smith. Around back of the net. Carlo intercepts. Got it ahead for Domi, and he'll just get it out before it's shot right back in again. Changes coming for both teams. Riley has it back of the net and some time to breathe. Into the corner for Brandon Carlo. Ahead for Nyes. Nyes off the skate of Matthews. Doesn't get into the zone. Brought right back by Sam Reinhart. Into the Leaf zone it goes, and McCabe is back of the net with it. Trying to play it up the boards, cut off by Barkov. Stolen back by McCabe. Tannen jams his man to the boards. The puck still free as it comes back to the point. Near side now
Better
for
get that
Ekblad.
puck.
His shot on goal, stopped by Wall. And Joey Wall has been the story of the first 6 minutes and 33 seconds. 8 shots against him by the Florida Panthers. None by the Maple Leafs at this point. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 of the Maple Leafs.
Well, you know the Panthers, the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, got a lot of pride and a lot of experience. And I expected them to come out hard like this. They've been playing this hard the whole series, minus a few moments here and there. It's up to the Leafs to play strong on the defensive end. But we got to get those pucks out harder and faster. These giveaways, at the risk of sounding repetitive, will make you pay. Wool's good, believe me, but we don't want to chance that too much. Smart passes, play as a team, every puck matters, move it fast and hard. Let's see if we can get into the offensive zone and put on some offensive pressure. You are tuned into Blue SNOT. Go Leafs Go Live remix. Put a Go Leafs Go in the chat. I'm gonna throw one in the back. Take us through this commercial break.
Or just hemmed in. I mean, it's been embarrassing at this point. 7-0. But Joe Wall has been the difference. Matthews to take the face-off, but lost the draw. But now it's whistled down.
Now the one positive is there's been nothing clear-cut against Wall. At least have been able to get sticks in the way, take lanes away. But the longer you spend in your own zone, it's that ugly one that's going to be bouncing in.
Marner taking the face-off now against Sam Reinhart. And Reinhart won the draw as it comes back to the point where it slid in around the boards. Tanev blocking the path, and Marner comes away with it and looks up ice. Marner with a pass ahead for Nyes, who'll get it in over the line, but the Panthers are sending it right back out again. Here's Barkov in across the line. Works in on the right wing side, goes around back of the net. Played it back to the blue line, cut out there, and in and wrapped around the boards to the near side. Marner trying to get there ahead of Jones. The puck is played back into the slot area, and the Leafs now have it back at their own goal, trying to get a change of players going. Pass ahead to Flex. Tavares couldn't get it in cleanly. Flip it back to the Leaf blue line. Bouncing disc to the near corner. Grandlaw steps into his man there with a hefty hit. And Tavares starts out of his own end. Tavares getting it up on the wing for Willie. Nylander back for Tavares and in over the line, but it was knocked away. Now cleared in on a delayed offside. Willie will have to come out of the zone. Leafs are changing as the puck comes up ahead on the right side for Verhaeghe. Long shot has gone off his stick and up into the screen and out of play.
Number one line that looks like they're on the verge of breaking out, Joe, is with the Tavares line.
I don't know if y'all saw that interaction with Tanev and McCabe. Looked a little heated to me. Was Tanev just trying to be communicative, or was he getting mad at Jake? I'm not sure. But he was definitely vocal with him. It's good passion. It's good leadership.
Face off in the Toronto zone. Won by the Maple Leafs. Played off the boards to the line, but it doesn't clear. Lawton couldn't get to it. Back around into the corner. Riley knocked his man down. The puck comes free on the near boards, though. Played back in along the wall. Riley interfered with, trying to come out into the corner after his man. Riley knocked it back along the boards and will come off a stick to the point. Long shot goes high over top of the Leaf goal. Here's Riley after it again as it's played back into the corner. Marchand back to the point, near side to Kulikov. His rolling puck is in front of the net, and now Lorenz starts away with a pass. He'll play it off the boards, trying to get to it himself, but couldn't get in over the line cleanly, as now it's down in the round back of the Florida net for the first time in the game. And that is 8.5 minutes in. Here's a stolen puck then by McCabe, but he couldn't get a shot away inside the blue line. Leafs have to wait for teammates to get onside. Max Domi flipping it into the left wing corner. Being interfered with there was McMahon, and no call. Here the Panthers in with a shot, blocked away by Wall, and it's gone up into the screen and out of play.
Well, there's been a couple of plays in a row now that if they were looking for something could have called. Morgan Riley tried to get to the corner from the front of the net, got hauled down. And now here, A.J. Greer. I mean, that's fine. If you don't want to call it, then don't call those one-handed hooking penalties the other way.
Chris Rooney was the one looking right at that. Jean Hebert is the other referee. Devin Berg and Johnny Murray are the linesmen. Face off to the right. In the Toronto zone where this period has been played. Leafs playing it around the boards to the near side to Nyes. He's kept in there on a good pinch by Mikula. It's back to the net as it comes into the slot area. Back to the point of one-timer. That deflected wide of the net. Leafs trying to come away with the loose puck, and it is Matthews getting it ahead and pinched off the boards and brought out at center ice now by Marner. Marner to Matthews in on the left wing. Matthews in with the backhand, and that went wide as he was taken down. Panthers get it to the line, but not out. Nyes into the slot. Nyes is in a goal. Shot it just wide. The rebound down the boards. The Leafs still without a shot on goal as it's cleared to center. But now this crowd is into it again. Shot right back down into Florida territory. Far side for Sam Bennett. Bennett gets it out on the wing, but no one there. Leafs will have possession back at their own blue line. Riley getting it ahead and off the stick of Pacioretty into the zone for Bobby McMahon. McMahon along the wall getting it along for Domi. Domi tried to center, but it was blocked. Domi getting it back along the boards again. Domi trying to look for a man in front. Shooting it just wide of the far post. Leafs with a couple of scoring chances here. Played out at center ice by Florida. Kachuk sends it down into the left wing corner for Sam Bennett. Bennett and Carlo after it as the puck goes to the back of the net. Morgan Riley taking it to safety to play it into the corner for Brandon Carlo, who got it up on the boards, but not out. And Domi got it out into the center ice area. Kulikov shoots it right back into the Toronto end. Far side for Marchand. Marchand goes around back of the net, off the skate of Riley to the near boards. Marchand with it again. Gives the puck away to Morgan Riley. He's going to send it out into neutral ice. Kulikov at the Florida blue line. Gets it up on the left wing. On-man rush here for Florida, but Marchand had it roll off his stick. It comes back up on the near wing. Leafs trying to punch it out at center, and Williams has a break down the left wing. Nylander closes, and he shot it wide. Pass on the far side, kept in by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And around back of the net. Here's Benoit running and shooting, and that's wide. Leafs have not hit the net with a shot yet. Down into the corner for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg trying to...
You only need to hit it once. Let's go.
Trying to get it out in front. Nylander kicking it free. Nylander along the boards back towards the blue line. Still with it along the line into the slot area. Rolls in front of the goal. Stopped by Bobrovsky. What a play by William Nylander.
Boy, fortunate that the puck ended up back on his stick. As I believe it was John Tavares, Joe, with his back to the goal, just redirected the pass through his legs and back onto the stick of Nylander. But Nylander had sort of gone too far past the post and had to reach back before flicking it into Bobrovsky.
No score, first period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey.
See, that's what I was talking about. You weather the storm, play some strong D, get some hard outs. You'll turn the momentum. And they've got a lot of good scoring chances there. They haven't hit the net more than once, but you know, it's a start. It only takes one to go in. Keep firing them. Keep the pressure coming. You are tuned into Blue Snot, Go Leafs Go live remix Game 7. Leafs fans, where you at? That was some nice stick handling with some puck luck for Willie there. As when he was up at the blue line, he was right on the line. Any mistake there could have happened, or if the Panthers defender had just got a stick an inch further, he would have got that puck around Willie. But credit Willie for getting through, and then Johnny for throwing it back over. Let's see some more momentum shifting play, guys. Go Leafs, go.
Overtime winner.
He's had a lot of overtime winners.
No, but I mean in the playoffs.
Yes, he had. Yep.
I believe in this building. Was it Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think so. Although Harry Neal said he would never take him duck hunting because he'd never shoot.
Well, they bring Brian McKay.
Won by the Leafs. Comes back to the point. Ekman Larson faked the shot. Sends it back at the net for Matthews. Matthews couldn't get it in front. Into the corner, Evan Rodriguez trying to get it out, but it's stolen back by Nyes, but it bounced over his stick and comes to center ice. Barkov sends it down into the corner. Ekman Larson up against the boards. Matthews bowled over his man back of the net. Puck comes up on the near wing for Nyes. He can't get it out. Puck along the boards. Matthews stole it back, and he starts it out for Marner. Marner to his defenseman now as the Leafs are changing. Benoit will wait patiently in his own zone and now go to the bench as he gives it off there to Jake McCabe. McCabe cautiously coming out of his own end with a pass ahead for Steven Lorentz, who gets by one. He's tripped up but no call again. Back into the corner, it comes back to the point. Played in along the boards and around back to the net to the near corner. It will get to the near side. And now Scotty Lawton back to the net. Drive to center. That's jammed out in front and swallowing it up finally is Bobrovsky. But two obvious penalties have not been called.
I mean, that's at least, and like I said, if there was a cheap one called back the other way, in fact, even maybe a legit one called back the other way, this crowd would be going nuts. As the Leafs starting to open their legs here in Game 7 and push back a little bit. Great work by the fourth line and third/fourth line.
Draw in the Florida zone to the right of Bobrovsky. Tavares taking the draw for Toronto. Wins it cleanly. Riley at the point. Plays it along the boards and then back of the net for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg allowed to come out with a swinging stick there of Bobrovsky. Knocked it away on a good paddle down play. And now Florida gets it out at center. Long shoot in there by Lundell. Goes wide of the lead goal. Cleared out at center ice and then slashed right back down into Toronto territory. Pontus Holmberg has it back in his own zone.
St. Florida didn't clear, so they're going to blow it offside. Now, it's kind of one of those.
The Leafs had full control of the puck. Didn't think that they were being pressured by a Florida player.
They're going to face off at center ice, but yeah, the Leafs go from having full control of it to having to win a face-off to get the puck back.
Domi will face off, and he wins the draw cleanly, and the Leafs have it back in their own zone. Chip to the line. Domi is able to get it over the line and get it under control as Pacioretty was driving the net as it comes back to the point. Now to McCabe. McCabe with a wrist shot in traffic is still free. Knocked at the net, stopped by Bobrovsky. It's grabbed back now by Tanev. To the point to McCabe, back to Chris Tanev. Return to McCabe. McCabe shot in traffic, deflected wide. Where's the puck? It goes back off the back of the goal. It's cleared to the line and off McCabe, or off Tanev rather, and down in. I don't know about that. I think that went off Chris Tanev, don't you?
Well, there's your big break of the previous fight. You're going to face face-off back in the Florida zone. Of course, now, yeah, this could be a center ice face-off.
I believe it is. It did, and they're saying that it was, but that's the right play. That's the right call. The unfortunate part is the other two calls are also the right call. We're not made.
Well, Leafs another couple of opportunities. Still only 2 official shots on goal, so only done is equal what Florida did at home in Game 6. Where they were held to just 2 shots on goal in the opening period, and that was while having the only 2 power plays in the period.
6:17 left in the first. No score. Matthews lost the draw. Nyes trying to get to it is chopped at high in the air. Volleyball by Florida to center. And the Leafs will backpedal in their own zone to get it to Benoit. He had some difficulties with it. Got it back again. Now has it in his skates. Trying to play it up the middle, and he does to Marner. Saucers it ahead for Matthews. To Nyes, and in over the line comes Marner. He's got a man going to the front of the net. Oh, and it was a great pass intended there for Oliver Ekman-Larsson that just failed to connect. Leafs back in their own zone. For all of this pressure that Florida had in amassing the first 7 shots of the game, the Leafs have had the better scoring chances. Puck in the center ice area. Here's Scotty Lodge. He's in a goal. Backhand stop by Bobrovsky. Oh, boy.
I really want to see Scotty put one in. Remember that last game of the season against Detroit when he had that overtime winner to get them home ice advantage? Oh, I'd love to see that right now. Good try, Lawton.
Wasn't able to recover to get the shot off.
No score, first period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 in the Maple Sports.
In the Maple Sports. Yeah, like I was saying, the last game of the season, the Red Wings, overtime. Scott Lawton had the overtime winner to give the Leafs home ice advantage and win the conference, or the division, I should say. I believe Washington won the conference. Doesn't take away to how important or big that goal was, and I would love to see Scott Lawton get another one here tonight. But really, anybody in the blue and white is gonna get me jumping out my seat if I'm even in it when it happens. This is Blue Snot, Go Leafs Go Live, Remix, Game 7, y'all. Put a Go Leafs Go in the chat. Let's go. The Beebs is in the house. That's a good sign for Austin Matthews, right? If Justin Bieber and his wife are in the place to be, then maybe we'll get a big game from number 34. Let's go, blue and white.
Draw, won by the Leafs. Back to the point it comes. Brendan Carlo. That struck a body, and now a centering pass, a backhand. Stopped that there. Stopped by Bobrovsky on the short side. Kachuk gets it out at center. Here's Bennett in over the line. Bennett with a shot that goes off the stick of Carlo and up into the screen and out of play.
I do like the Leafs, so they're doing what the Panthers did earlier in the period. You win a draw, get traffic in front, and hammer it. And right here, Bobby McMahon, who's still looking to break through here in the postseason. 23 games. You go back to the end of the regular season and now for Bobby McMahon, but if he were to score, this would be the game you would love to see.
Face off to the right in the Toronto zone. Tavares wins it cleanly, and Tanev is back at the Toronto net. He's going to start out with a pass up at center. That goes off the stick, but it is corralled now by Florida. Brought back in with a wrist shot wide of the goal by Verhaeghe. Far corner now for Kachuk.
Kachuk to Bennett. Bennett trying to work it back in along the boards, and Tanev got there, but then it's poked into the near corner. Florida with it again, trying to come out with it is Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe with a shot that explodes off the shin pad of McCabe and goes all the way back down into Florida territory, allowing both teams to change. 4:35 to go in a scoreless first. Brought to center ice and launched high into the Toronto zone. Brandon Carlo back at the net to play into the corner, but Barkov has cut it off. Barkov engaged there by Matthews and got it freed up for Matthew Nyes. Nyes misfires on a pass, and there's the chance for Rodriguez. Going to the net, a big save by Wall. Into the corner now for Reinhart. Back it goes Rodriguez, a shot, glove. Joey Wall.
Well, Leafs almost out of their own zone. Nice couldn't get it the rest of the way, but Joe, I love the compete by Austin Matthews on Sasha Barkov to steal the puck and get it going in the right direction. But Nyes, I think, was trying to chip it to open ice to go after it, but it was kept in. But it was a great battle between Matthews and Barkov.
Face off in the Toronto zone. One. Taking the draw for the Maple Leafs. Lost it to Lundell. Kept in now. Forsling around back of the net. Had it tipped away by Tanev. Tanev gets it ahead, but doesn't get it out. Now finds a pass and gets it ahead. And the pass breakaway. Stop by Bobrovsky. What a play made by Scotty Lawton.
Nice. That was
And
nice.
Stephen Lorenz was in alone.
Was nice.
Boy,
Let's not forget the play Tanev made behind the net.
Space.
Tanev with the big steal and the strong clear to get it
Take it to the net. Bobrovsky
out of the
well
zone.
on top of the crease.
and then Lawton with the sweet
We've
pass
also
to
seen
Lorenz.
Use that shot that could be pretty lethal. Remember the short-handed goal against Colorado in this building at the end of the ice from well out.
Face off to the left of Bobrovsky. Domi will take the face off. Pacioretty and McMahon are with him. And the draw won by the Panthers. Cleared to the line, but kept in by Toronto. Into the corner for McMahon. McMahon one-hands it to the side of the goal. That was knocked back into the corner, and Domi sending it back from whence it came. Now Domi along the near wall. Got it freed up for Bobby McMahon to the point. It comes to Riley. D to D, far side, long shot. No one there, although it was a valiant effort by Domi and Pacioretty to try to get to the front of the net before the shot from Brandon Carlo came. But Carlo had to get it away in a hurry as he was ready.
Max Domi, when he was with Carolina, Joe, had 2 goals in the Game 7 win. And you see, he looks like he's engaged, doesn't he? He was very good in Game 6. And the secondary assist on the insurance goal by Max Pacioretty in the 3rd period.
Draw to the left. Matthews out there for Toronto. Wins the draw. Back to the blue line. It'll come to McCabe. McCabe sends it towards the net, but it's off the stick of Sam Reinhart. Ramping up into the screen and out of play with 3:28 to go. Here in period number 1. No score. Game 7. But things tightening up in the shots on goal department now. 7-6.
And you don't know whether
What are the
Leafs have
scoring
survived
chances,
the
though?
Panthers at the early going to survive themselves.
Draw to the right of Bobrovsky. Matthews lost the face-off. Marner unable to get to it, but Nyes partially blocks that as it comes into the point. Now, here's Matthews closing. And a wrist shot is taken off the shoulder by Bobrovsky and held.
Well, Game 7s is they could be a microcosm of the 6 previous games that got you here, right? The ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, the pushes and the pushbacks. And we see the pushback for the Leafs here after being outshot 7-0. Shots are now even with 3:18 to go in the first.
Face off to the right of Bobrovsky. Tavares out now with Nylander and Pontus Holmberg. And the draw won by Florida. Chipped on the glass. Nylander is there. Puck comes back along the boards for Tavares. Tavares couldn't get it to his defense. And the Panthers are able to break it to center and shoot it high. That was into the screen and out of play. And so a face-off will come back out into the center ice area with 3:04 to go in the period. This is my 13th. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, my 19th. Game 7.
How many for me?
No, but we're friends.
No kidding.
So
Kidding.
we're still friends. Well, you weren't around with me in 82.
Well, I have been since 97.
Well, then how many have you got?
I don't keep track of stats like that.
No, apparently not.
No. No.
You rarely keep track of any stats.
You asked me that 2 and 3 times
I
every
know.
game.
Yes, you
Go,
do.
Leafs,
Shot
go,
down into the Florida
go,
zone.
Leafs, go,
Bobrovsky tucking
go,
it around
Leafs,
back in the net.
go.
It'll find
go, Leafs,
Kachuk, who
go.
gets it out at center. Carlos sends it back into the zone, and the Leafs are getting a change going. 2:36 to play in the first period, no score. Panthers deflected down into the Toronto zone. Wall missed that, but it goes to Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who gets it to Matthews. And Matthews, having difficulties with Kachuk, is able to take it away from him and find Benoit on the near boards. Benoit straight up ice to center. Tried to get it in over the line and did, and was knocked down by Seth Jones. I don't think that was interference. What a hit by Matthews here, but it's paired out in center. The Leafs are going to have too many men on the ice.
Yeah, they got that one.
Yeah, they got that one right.
And you got to call it. He's going to the bench in a line change,
Oh,
and I think
man.
Chris Tannen thought, you know what? Rather than give up a breakaway from the red line in,
This is a little scary.
this one. This puck was in the Florida zone when he was trying to get the change in, but it was swatted out to center in the midst of the change.
Right near the Leafs bench.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean,
This is scary because the Leafs already don't do good in the last 2 minutes of the period. And now with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left, the Panthers are getting a power play. Let's get a strong defensive effort, guys. Don't lose this momentum. You're doing good.
22 on the power play in this series, and they win the faceoff. Back to the point it comes to Jones. Jones back to the blue line to Ekblad. Ekblad over on the far side, looking for Kachuk back in the net, but
Gotta get that out.
And then a clearing attempt by the Leafs was knocked down. It's kept alive by the Panthers. Along the board, stolen, trying to poke it free. There was the Leafs, and it is Matthews out fighting his man to get it out and down the ice.
seen that a number of times from Matthews here in the first, winning those puck battles.
Period will end in about 5 seconds after this power play expires. Played down into the zone. Tipped back towards the blue line, but it's going to roll to center ice. Jones goes back to organize again for Florida.
1:11
Jones stick handling to the
remaining
blue
in the
line,
power
down to
play.
the blue line, then dropping it back. Brought in over the line by Reinhart. Reinhart gets it into the slot for Jones to the left wing side. Unable to shoot it was Kachuk. Kachuk gets it down back of the net though. Now to Kachuk now on the far half boards. Looking in front with a pass that deflected off the stick and comes to the near wing. Cleared around the boards to the far side. Nines can't get it. Back to the point it comes to Ekblad. Ekblad with a shot that deflects wide. Kachuk in the far corner with it again. Kachuk looking in front goes back to the net. Trying to find a fan. It comes back to Barkov on the near half boards. Barkov stretching things out. Passes down low. Pass back comes to Barkov again. Back to the point. One timer coming. Stop rebound. Still free in front of the goal. Hard for the Leafs to get it back to the blue line. Another shot blocked it away. And cleared by the Leafs down the ice. Big save.
Yeah.
Joey Wall. 10 seconds left in the penalty, 15 in the period. Brought to the line and in. Panthers into the corner, centering pass goes wide. Rebound's going to come.
That's
to
the
center.
period.
The Leafs get by the first penalty, and the period will end with nothing on the board.
And with a penalty kill is going to end on a high as this crowd on their feet. Saluting the guy being shown up on the scoreboard right now, and that's Joseph Wall. Heading off the ice into the Leaf dressing room. And Walt, nothing spectacular. But boy, in Game 7, the margin of error is so razor thin. He gave absolutely nothing to the Florida Panthers, and you tip your cap at the other end of the ice as well, as Sergei Bobrovsky had to make the more difficult saves. It's a partial break. Well, it was a breakaway by Lawton, but didn't get a crisp shot off. Then you had the break by Steven Lorenz. You had the save off Willie Nylander. And Bobrovsky probably, out of his 7, had the more difficult saves to make, but Joseph Wall just gives you all kinds of confidence in there.
7 shots and probably 3, maybe 4 good scoring chances that didn't result in a shot on goal.
Yeah. So I think if your great group, we said, I don't know how much of it was Florida, how much of it was Toronto, or what the combination was, but the Leafs, it seemed like they just had to survive that first 7 or 8 minutes to be able to get their legs and get the crowd back into this, because the whole building got really nervous for that stretch until they were able to get it going.
Not me. I was very calm, cool, and collected, I thought.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean you. I meant the other 19,000 people that are in here.
Good. Okay. Well, that's good.
I didn't mean to exclude you.
I don't like to be included in such frivolous things like that.
Oh,
thank you. All right. We'll ship it off to Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart. No score, first period, Game 7. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050.
Yeah. A lot of good in that period. A lot of good. A couple things not that great, but, you know, we can clean that up. And they were cleaning it up. Like they were just saying, the Panthers came out strong for the first several minutes of the period, with a barrage of pressure and shots. I expect them to bring that in the second period as well. But the Leafs proved that all they got to do is tighten up on D, keep the shots coming from the outside, play some strong, hard hit defense. The one thing I'm going to keep stressing and harping on is hard outs and getting those pucks out. They did a better job than when they first started the period. They got to keep that up. They turned up the momentum on the offensive end too. It's good to see. They didn't let that penalty call take away their motivation. It's good to see. A lot of good to see in that period. I'm excited for the second. How we feeling, Leafs Nation? You are tuned into Blue Snot, Go Leafs Go live remix. It's intermission. Get up, stretch the legs, rehydrate, grab a snack, and come right back. And in the meantime, put a Go Leafs Go in the chat.
to play Game 7. TSN After 20 brought to you by Subaru. Hurry to the all-in-one event for great offers and experience all the features that come standard in a Subaru. Jim Taddy and former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you, live from Scotiabank Arena. Scoreless, and that's some sort of a moral victory considering the barrage of shot attempts in the first 6.5 minutes and a penalty kill.
Yeah, perfect way in describing it. The pendulum swung one way and then back the other way as Toronto sort of came out a little bit flat, stuck in neutral, as they were pretty much hemmed in their zone for the first 10 minutes of the period. Great job by Joseph Wallet. They had the first gains first. It was 8 shots, but dropped back down to 6. They found a way to weather the storm before now going back on the offensive end, getting some opportunities. You saw Lott with the breakaway. You saw Lorentz with the breakaway near the end there. So it was a pretty good counter punch by the Toronto Maple Leafs as they sort of evened it out. I think before the penalty, the power play there for Florida, I think Florida maybe only had 1 shot in that second half of that first period. So not the ideal start, but they found a way to get momentum back into their side. They lost it obviously with the too many men call, but going in 0-0 with the energy and the momentum going into the second, they have to ride that wave and find a way to get the game's first goal.
Yeah, in a way, when we describe the first period, it is the series. Florida would hem the Leafs in for minutes at a time, and they certainly did at the start of this game. I had the shot attempts at 21-0, and I know they may have audited a couple out, but the Leafs had nothing in 6.5 minutes and finally chipped away at that. And the other thing is the Leafs, as you say, with Lorentz and Lott, even Nylander had an opportunity. They get in behind the Panthers, don't they?
Yeah, they do a good job sort of sneaking in behind them. They're doing a lot of stretch zone passes and advancing the puck and sort of chipping it into speed. So great job by that. Bobrovsky, finished this period pretty strong for sitting around for the first 7.5, 8 minutes, but they were getting their opportunities. Marner almost found OEL backdoor.
Yeah.
Pacioretty was in the slot on a bit of a scramble play too, so sort of back and forth. I probably have the scoring chances close to even. My one concern on the on the Toronto Maple Leaf front, 15 block shots in the first 20 minutes. Like, they're on pace now for 45, and why I'm worried about that is because as you're blocking too many, as the game gets a little bit longer and a little bit tighter, you now sort of tend to maybe get out of the way because they've taken too many chunks out of you. But not the ideal start, but they found a way to respond. That 2-minute penalty killed a little bit of momentum, but if I'm Craig Berube, I'm saying, you know what? Wasn't our best start, but we found a way to sort of get that counter punch and get back into the game. Let's keep this momentum and ride into the first half of the second period.
Yeah, I mean, if you're blocking 15 shots in 20 minutes, you're spending a lot of time in your own zone.
Yeah, but again, it's, I call it the puck possession procession where, Florida, they did have some opportunities, but a lot of it was from the outside. A lot of the shots were sort of that, 40-foot jumper here and shooting for sticks or redirects, but Wall's doing a good job in finding those pucks. The defense have done a great job in boxing out, and there's no real second or third opportunities. I think Toronto probably has the edges in those second and third scrambles, so doing a good job protecting that interior that Berube puts so much emphasis on with his system. But anyway you dice it, you don't want to be getting stuck in your end. I think it starts with the breakouts. The neutral zone was a little bit sloppy. They weren't advancing the puck past the blue line, let alone the tops of the circles getting on the forecheck. They weren't skating as much as they make the pass from the defense to the winger. The puck carrier would sort of just be flaring to the side, going east-west as opposed to north-south. So a little bit more north-south hockey, advancing the puck, and ultimately getting more shots on Bobrovsky.
So let's talk about the whistle. Clearly the penalty was justified. It was too many men on the ice. They got caught in a turnover situation as they were in mid-change, and Tanev swallowed the puck wisely, so instead of giving it up and creating a breakaway. But that's the only penalty you're going to see. It was blatant. The other stuff, there's a lot of falling and tripping, whatever. That's not going to get called.
Well, if you're going to turn your blind eye to the jaywalking, you might as well turn your blind eye to that. I think they could have easily called 2 or 3 on the Florida Panthers. You saw Greer on McMahon. That's an easy hold, but I understand what they're doing. They're trying to let the guys play and not have it being decided by power plays and penalty kills. But they got caught on a bad change. But Tanev, as he said, he's probably, it's probably going to be a breakaway. I'm going to break it off. We'll take our chances on the penalty kill. So not ideal, but at least, hopefully it's going to be consistent and not be ticky-tacking. And through 20 minutes, you know what? I don't mind it.
No, so got the sample size of 20 minutes. What do you expect? How do you expect the second period to start?
Well, it starts with a kill, obviously, right? They got the penalty kill, but I think for them now, they want to keep that ice tilted, getting in on the forecheck, but you got to capitalize. You got that breakaway. you can't. You got to score one eventually. Right?
Well, it just seems like they're like a half beat off on the breakaway, right?
Yeah, right. But again, it's the nerves. It's the moment. It is very, very big, right? But we talked about guys that are looking to be that unsung heroes. And I mentioned the Lorenzes. I mentioned the Laughtons. The team is sort of on Florida isolating and really keying in on the top two lines. If you're going to get those opportunities, you gotta make the most of it.
We're going to call that guy the next statue.
Bronze? What's below bronze there? Fourth place, whatever material that is.
Nickels make around here, so.
Copper.
Yeah. Tariff. Anyway, so obviously the Leafs weathered the storm there, and we're better for it. And there's an ultimate lesson about bend but don't break is that first 7 minutes.
They usually could have been down 2-0, but they found a way to sort of stay in the game and actually get momentum back. And we said it could have been 2-0, but Toronto, they had 2 or 3 legitimate scoring chances. Yeah. They just have to make the most of it for the final 40 minutes.
Yeah, both teams will take scoreless after 20 minutes, which is where we are. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey. Wherever you are, we are right here. TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Go, Leafs, go! I expect the Panthers, to have a similar start to that they did in the first period. Because when they're energized, they come hard and they come fast. But when the Leafs find a way to close that out and turn it around, they're pretty good at getting in behind with some sneaky backdoor passes. A bounce here or there, a connected pass. This might be a different outlook. Leafs had a lot of scoring chances. We got to keep that momentum and keep that energy. Good things will happen. We are less than 5 minutes away from puck drop in the second period. Game 7. Win or go home. The shots on goal are 9-7 for the Panthers, though the Leafs had more scoring chances, in my opinion. Who's been looking good tonight? That fourth line. Lawton and Lorentz and Yarncroke. 10 have been looking good. OEL and Benoit been looking good. Matthews been looking good. Patches, Tavares, let's step up. Bobby McMahon, he's trying. Try harder, where you at? Whoever, whatever it's gotta be, whenever, it's gotta be somebody in blue and white tonight. Let's go, Leafs, go! You are tuned into Blue Snot, Go Leafs Go Live Remix.
Panthers had 21 shot attempts and the Leafs 0. At the end of the period, Panthers had 36 shot attempts, 9 that got through, and the Leafs 17, 7 that got through. And as we detailed nicely with Stu, I think if you had to compare scoring chances between the two, it'd be dead even. In fact, maybe the Leafs had the better of the opportunities with a couple of breakaways. But it is scoreless after 20 minutes of play. Oh, yes, guy. The second period is next. Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
second period is brought to you by Molson. Whether it's in Ultra Export or Excel, there's a Molson with your name on it. The Leafs blocked 15 shots in that first period, most of them in the first 7 minutes.
Yeah, a few in the power play near the end as well. But that was really the story of Game 6 as well, right? All the blocks by the Leafs.
Leafs
over 30, instead of 31,
yep.
32.
Yep. And it has been their DNA from the start of this season. And Chris Tanev has been the leader in that department throughout the course of the season.
I tell you, Chris and his brother Brandon, we just saw in the playoffs with Winnipeg. I hope they had great childhoods. I assume they do. Because as adults, they've taken us beaten. And you give them credit. That's character.
Puck is dropped and we're underway as the Leafs poke it to the blue line, but quickly played to center and then shot into Florida territory. Out of the net, Bobrovsky giving it into the corner. Big hit there, and the Leafs play it back in along the boards. And
somebody's hurt, the linesman or referee.
Is down.
No, a referee, yeah.
Yep.
And that was a high stick from Mikkola that I believe came up and got the official.
Don't tell me that Wes McCall is the backup. I mean, hopefully this referee is not injured seriously. They're calling for medic attention here. But let's hope Wes McCall is not the backup.
The visor and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So, a dangerous situation here. And the doctor coming onto the ice. I'm not sure which official it is, and they're bringing the stretcher out right away.
Yeah, I believe it's...
no, now they're waving the stretcher off. Okay.
It's Johnny Bear, Joe, that is down.
All right.
Yeah, that high stick in the corner came right up underneath the visor.
Garrett Rank is the backup referee.
Boy, there's some blood in the corner.
Sigh of relief.
Right along the boards.
And that is a scary situation, and they are very quickly out there now. The stretcher is on the ice, but it's down 2 hours left, and has people there have stopped and not gone to the fallen official, who is now up and being assisted off by a trainer from either team. So we are going to be maybe playing old-time hockey here with one referee.
Well, no, they'll have the replacement ref out, I believe, fairly quickly.
Yeah, I'm not sure what situation they must have to have them almost with the equipment on.
Yeah, in the room.
In the room.
Yep.
They have got the, yep, and here he is. Wow. So
Yep.
Garrett Rank has come on to replace Jean Hebert.
Exchanges some jokes with Barkov.
Yeah, we certainly hope Johnny Bear is okay. In some ways you shake your head and say, how doesn't this happen more often? Somebody's sick's coming up. He leaves the ice, and I believe the face-off will stay in the Florida zone to the left of Sergei Bobrovsky.
A scary moment for the officials here.
Of course, it may not feel like a huge bonus right now, but it's got some of the best medical staffs in the world on hand right away. Be able to diagnose, assess, and get them the proper treatment as soon as possible. And this comes just 13 seconds here into the second period. And as you can imagine, it's sort of taken the life
Air of the building a little bit, hasn't it? Yeah, they're still working on the ice, cleaning up where the blood.
Yeah, I mean, you and I will never forget that fateful day in Ottawa.
No, I will never, ever forget that. Brian Berard on a high stick by Bosa. And lost the sight of his eye.
Yet miraculously, he's still able to come back and play
Yeah.
after that.
Well, they got some water that they're...
Doing the glass now
Wow. Yep.
in the corner. So a scary moment. I mean, it doesn't always take something like this. You could look at what the Winnipeg Jets and Mark Scheifele went through yesterday.
Well, hopefully the official is all right, and hopefully the Maple Leafs can pick up the momentum now. Yo, fans, it's time to wake up. Put a Go Leafs Go in the chat, and let's start a chant in the back. Go Leafs Go.
Pass off to the left in the corner zone is controlled by the Panthers. Around back to Sam Reinhart. He's going to flip it high to the line. It's volleyball out in center, but now carried back by Florida and shot into the near corner. It goes around back of the net. Jake McCabe got there first to get it up on the wing, and the Leafs minor chops it out at center ice. Jones has to go back in his own zone. Aaron pass controlled by Toronto at their own blue line. Brandon Carlo flipping it in, but it's going to be from the wrong side at center. And an icing call will come here to send the face-off back in the Toronto zone.
Carlo had the option of trying to get Matthew Nyes in the middle of the ice. I don't know if he thought Nyes was going to stay on and maybe be the first one into the loose puck on the right wing side. Nyes then peeled away as that line was going for a line chase.
Face-off to the right of Joseph Wall. Draw one by Florida. Kachuk with a shot that deflects to the far side. A drive is kicked away by goaltender Wall, and the puck is pushed out in center ice by Toronto. They'll get the rest of the change going. Errant pass now the other way, and it will be waved off on a generous wave by the linesman. The puck around back of the Toronto goal. Brandon Carlo was going to step into his man, and Tavares is able to get it out at center. Pontus Holmberg trying to create a disturbance there, but the puck comes back to center ice, and the Leafs have it now at their own blue line. A rink-wide pass is backhanded down into the zone. It goes wide of the net. Holmberg into the forecheck, but can't get to it before Bennett sends it around to his defense, and it's played out at center ice. Reinhart getting it over on the left wing side for Bennett. Bennett kicking it back. Marchand shot went wide. Kept in now, and the Leafs have it in the corner and sending it around the boards. It'll come to center ice. Gonna get shot right back in again though, and it is Benoit on the far boards, mishandling the puck, gets back against the boards, but it is Marchand trying to come out in front, knocked away by the Leafs, but again, Pontus, or at least Yarncrook couldn't come up with it. Marchand in around back of the net. Marchand to the far point, gets it back there to Kulikov, and a shot in traffic went wide. Batted at, but not out. Here's another shot, stopped by Wall and grabbed off by Benoit. Cleared to the line, but not out again, and now it does come to center.
Gotta get it out, guys.
We'll send it down into Florida territory to allow a change.
Boy, not many times are you going to get 3 opportunities to clear and not pay for it.
Domi in on the left wing was knocked down from behind by Nosek. The puck around to the side of the goal. It came off the side of the goal, and now Pacioretty back to the point to Tannen. Quickly to the far side to McCabe. McCabe trying to send it in, and it comes to center ice, and Carlo has to wait patiently to touch it because he might have had too many men on the ice. Now a shot from the left wing by Greer is swallowed up by Wall on a fairly easy save that took him right into the chest. And he'll stop play to bring a face-off in the Toronto end. No score. We're approaching 3 minutes played in the second period of this Game 7.
Really, the Leafs are starting this period, Joe, like they did the first.
Yes.
Some hiccups in their own zone.
Yes.
Clear.
Got to get stronger on those outs, guys. Stronger on those outs.
And not much offensive zone time.
Face off to the right of Joey Wall. this evening. Which is great news there, but the Panthers keep the puck in at the point with a long shot that went well wide. Pinching down Mikula. He gets trapped, and the Leafs trying to take advantage as Nyes gets it ahead to Matthews in across the line. Matthews looking for Marner. Marner back to the point to Carlo with a shot, and that didn't reach the net as it was blocked in front. Pushed out at center ice, brought in over the line now by Seth Jones. Breaking to the net, a shot, he scores! Jones coming into the rush down the right wing.
Terrible defense. What the?
And the veteran defenseman has made it 1-0. Panthers.
Robin Joe that stepped up in front of the Florida bench to try to keep the play in. It was chipped past him to Seth Jones. Brandon Carlo decides he's going to play it as a 2-on-1 and take the pass away. And Jones with the perfect shot. And, you know, this is just where you got to think, like they did in Game 6, defense first. You collapse back.
Third goal of the playoffs for Jones.
Oh, Morgan.
A bullet that went over the shoulder of Wall and into the top corner.
That's really their first chance off the rush, isn't it?
Yep. Forsling shooting it down into the Toronto zone. Played into the corner and
Go,
now Benoit
Leafs,
will
go.
start out with a flip high to center ice that's knocked down. Chipped ahead by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but the linesmen say it was over and back, and the faceoff is going to come into the center ice circle.
Well, 2 games and the 6th that did not see the team that scored first win. When Game 2 here in Toronto, Panthers opened the scoring, and Game 3 in Florida, when the Leafs only had the first goal, the first 2 goals of the game before the Panthers came back, won that one in overtime.
Shot down into Florida territory. Bobrovsky leaving it there for Forsling. Forsling a bank pass out at center and brought in over the line now on the left wing side by Verhaeghe. Played into the corner. Chipped back at the net by Tanev. Tanev gets it back again. Plays it off the wing, and now Nylander just gets it to center where it's now shot quickly right back into the Toronto end. Panthers are changing as Tanev gets it ahead on the right side. Brought in over the line by Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg taken to the boards, but got it into the corner for Tavares, who sends it around to the near wing for Nylander. Nylander to the point, long shot in traffic, doesn't get through, and it is brought to center ice by Kulikov. Kulikov in on the left wing. Trying to drive there is Lundell. Broken up now, and it is Marchand. Coming out of the corner with a pass in front that goes back to the point. Kulikov keeps it in. Near side for Schmidt. A shot in traffic that didn't get through. Here's Marchand with it again. Got around one. Played it off on the left wing. Schmidt with it once more. Back to Marchand. Shot coming. Blocked there by Benoit. But again, the Panthers have this scrum going as it comes in front of the net, and it is taken to safety finally by Nylander. Off the boards for Domi. Domi getting it back, and Willie comes from center. Nylander in on the right side with a shot. That was knocked away by Bobrovsky. Played down into the corner. Leafs trying to get back onto the puck, but it is
Turn your
dragged off
fucking
by
back and
Schmidt.
look at the fucking puck that's right beside you.
Line to the Toronto zone. Gobbled up there and sent wide of the Toronto net. Domi chipping it out at center ice.
Like, does Willie's brain shut off after he shoots the puck or something? I don't get this. He skates right by the puck so he can go to the bench. And it's not the first time he's done this in his fucking career.
Right back into the Toronto zone. Carlo, a long lead pass off the stick of Yarncrook into Florida territory to allow the Leafs to get a change going. Pass up on the near wing, and Rodriguez will come out of the zone. Injured early in this series, but back into the lineup for the deciding 7th game. Tanev around back of the Toronto goal. Into the corner for Jake McKay. Up ahead and a tip pass to the near wing for Nyes. He's going to rattle it in around the boards to the far side. In goes Matthews after it. The puck is pushed up on the wing, but not out. Around back of the net for Marner. Marner in the corner. Marner cycles the puck back, but Matthews misread that, and it's cleared by Florida down to the far boards and down into their Toronto zone. Leafs go back to recover the puck. Got it ahead on the wing now for Benoit. Benoit lead pass to the left wing side for Domi. Tried to flip it in for Bobby McMahon. He played it in front of the net, but no one there. And it is brought to the red line and in over the line. And what a hit by Domi as he grumbles for Hagee at the blue line. The pass is deflected down into the Toronto or into the Florida zone. Domi around back of the net. Domi trying to get it away from Bennett, but couldn't. And it's cleared by the Panthers to get it out at center ice. Left wing side for Hagee. Verhaeghe stopping it up, plays it around into the far corner for Marchand. Marchand unable to get to it, he was knocked down. And now the puck comes free and the Leafs are able to get it out at center ice. Pacioretty with a long shoot in that's gloved by Bobrovsky, and he'll play on to get it out at center. Lundell in across the line for Marchand, a shot. That was stopped as a rebound. The puck goes around back of the net. Marchand getting it back to the point. Mikkola sends it back into the corner. Marchand, a shot. Big save, rebound, scores! Anton on a rebound. And the Florida Panthers have jumped to a 2-0 lead.
Another shift for the Leafs to get hemmed into their own zone. And this is
Another
a shot
shift of
from a
shit.
rough angle, and I don't know whether this gets redirected, the initial shot, before it gets to Joseph Wall. But it's on the left wing. He's out square to the shot, and it goes off Wall and perfectly out the other way. And it might have been Lusteran, Joe, that, yeah, you know what, this is deflected right in front of Wall. It's about chest high when he goes down on the butterfly and it goes off his right pad.
You're gonna have to dig deep now, guys.
And then the perfect rebound.
Fourth of the playoffs for Lundell, and the Leafs have got a huge hill to try and climb now. They play it in the Florida zone. Matthews into the forecheck, misses on a hit there on Barkov. Panthers get it out at center ice again. And to the line and in now on the right wing side. Rodriguez playing it into the side of the goal. Gets it back again. Tied up there by Tanev. And now McKay getting it back to Tanev, who finds Nyes. And Nyes will play it high to center ice. Kicked by Marner. Left wing side and back for Marner on the right wing. Marner can't get there in time, but it is knocked high in the air. And the Panthers are able to fling it out at center. Barkov had it knocked off his stick by Tanev. Tanev into the corner against Barkov, jams him to the boards. Barkov couldn't handle the puck. Leafs are able to get it freed up for Marner, and Marner will play it ahead for Matthews. Matthews with Nyes across the line. Got a shot away, but it was well wide of the net. And it caroms back to the goal. Panthers get it back out at center and play it down into the Toronto end. Yardbrook hustling back after it to get it into the far corner for Brandon Carlo. Carlo's pass gets to the line, but not out. Play back in, Carlo intercepts that. Then he tried to make a pass that went off a leg. Leafs are able to come away with it. Benoit gets to center and sends it in. Into the rush now is Scotty Lawton centering in front. And the shot by Lorenz was blocked. Cleared out at center ice by the Panthers. Near side for Marchand. Marchand is bodied there by Lorenz. And Riley has the puck up on the wing, but Marchand is able to come away with it, but the Leafs get it to the line, but not out. Sent into the far corner. Puck around back into the far wing, and now Lorenz starts out with a lead pass, trying to find Lawton, who was at the blue line. Leafs getting a change in. 2-0 Florida here, all in the second period. Played around into the far corner. Hustling after it is Thomas Nosek. Nosek playing it back of the net. Leafs are slow to get to it. Pinching down is Mikkola. Now back of the net, Toronto with possession. And they'll work it around the boards and now try to come out with it. It was Tavares. Bank pass to center. Nylander couldn't get to it. Brought back in now by Jones. Centering pass. Big save. Rebound in front of the goal. They score. Oh, my. Another turnover. And another goal.
There it is.
3-0 Florida.
You think you're climbing back from that hole? Start crying, Leafs fans.
I don't know if Gadjevich actually cleared the zone when the puck was brought back in. Leafs turned the puck over at center.
No, it is offside, yes.
The Leafs, boy, this could be. I mean, this is a gift.
I mean, yeah. If you get this, you're fucking lucky.
This is going to be looked at right away. The Leafs are looking to make sure, but first glimpse we got was up on the scoreboard. We've yet to see it on the monitors here in the booth that are giving us. Boy.
It's not?
And unless, I don't know how the scoreboard really looked as though play was about a foot offside.
They're going to face it off here.
We still haven't seen a replay on the monitor.
Well, it's too late now.
Let's hope.
And the fans are booed because they saw it on the screen as well. Oh, my. Here's Barkov in with a shot. Wall blockers that away. Another drive from the point. And the stick comes up and clips one of the Leafs.
And that was Marner, but it's on a follow-through, so it's not going to be a penalty.
Huh? Well, hometown television hasn't helped the Leafs up here.
No.
Have they? Well, we've got a break in the action, but it's been all Florida, and it's 3-0. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
At Canada's Wonderland, we're serious about our guests having fun. Seriously. Just listen to our park opening sale. Buy a 2025 Silver Pass for only $89 and get unlimited visits through Labor Day. Unlimited upside-down loops, unlimited ice cream cone licks, unlimited super spinny swings. Told you we were...
I mean, how's that for deflation? So you can't see the far man. He didn't play the puck, that's why.
The end zone replay on it, and it looked like Adjevic was trying to get out of the zone before it was being brought back in, but boy, the one we saw on the scoreboard, wow, you wonder, because you see the cameras, Joe, right down there on the blue line.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, at the very least, Craig should have called a timeout so we can get a better look at it.
Back of the net in the Toronto zone. Mikkola got it freed up, and the Leafs come away with it. And throwing it out at center ice as Lawton gets it ahead for Yarncrook, who sends it in. Lorenz going into the corner with Reinhart. The puck comes free, and out come the Panthers with it again. They'll get to center, and in it goes. And the Leafs have to go back after it as it comes to center. Brought in over the line by Lorenz, trying to find Yarncrook. It comes back to Lorenz, and a bouncing puck would not behave for him. He couldn't get a shot at the net. Oliver Ekman-Larsson getting it up on the right side for Max Domi. Domi to the line, can't get into the zone. Back come the Panthers down. They've got an odd man rush developing here. Good play made there by Benoit to knock it away. The puck still in the Toronto zone though. Here's Verhaeghe sending it around the boards to the far side. Kept in there at the point. Around to the near side. Pacioretty couldn't get it away from Verhaeghe. Comes to the side of the goal. Down his wall. Trying to keep his foot on the post. The puck comes back. He's lost his goal stick. Back to the point it goes. Kept alive by Mikkola. Near side for Verhaeghe. Puck to the side of the net. Wall trying to get his stick again and has. It comes back to the goal for Marchand. Marchand getting it back into the slot. Wrist shot just off the far post and wide. Bobby McMahon can't get it out. Kept in by Florida. Boy, this has been just an absolute example of unbelievable forechecking. And another shot is blocked by Wall. The rebound comes in front of the net, down his Wall, and they get a quick whistle.
I tell you, if this was a heavyweight fight, they might want to stop it. Because right now,
I might want to stop it.
Outshot 11-1 in the second period. It was 7-0.
I mean, since the referee injury.
11-1 here in the second period, and the Florida Panthers have all three that have found the net.
3-0 Florida. Yep.
Ever since the injury to the referee, the Leafs have just been playing in cement. How is it the referees find a way into this game even when they're not trying to be? That's Leafs luck, I guess. But we can't attribute it all to bad luck, because it all comes down to how you play in those moments. The Panthers came out strong in the first. The Leafs matched it and turned that momentum around. The Panthers came out strong in the second. The Leafs matched it and were starting to turn it around when the referee got injured. That reset the energies. The Panthers came out strong after that, and the Leafs just never found it. Now, anybody could tell you that there's still half a hockey game left to play here, and anything could happen. But I know how Leafs fans are feeling right now, because we've seen this game too many times before. I'm not giving up hope. I still believe we got a chance as long as we smarten up and learn to play right and start putting some shots on net. We got to get a goal in this period, though, to make it feel right. It's Blue Snot, Go Leafs Go Live remix. Come on, Leafs fans. Let's raise the energy, raise the spirit. Let's hear it.
And so, whatever reason, whoever has it down in for Sam Kim and I mean, they have been so good at this all year long. And here's another turnover, and here the Panthers back into the attack. On the near side and into the corner, comes back to the blue line. Mikkola sending it around the boards for Barkov. Barkov challenge. Matthews can't get it out, but Pacioretty does to find Marner, but it bounced over his stick. Panthers are going to send it right back out at center. Matthews unable to get to it. Played to the line and in. Leafs get it back, and Matthews turns. Austin Matthews trying to flip it in for Pacioretty. That goes wide, and they're going to call an icing.
I mean, you would think if you're not going to call the obvious interference, I mean, Mikkola reaches out with his left hand to obstruct Pacioretty from getting in, and let's put it this way, you know you're in trouble when we're talking about icings not going their way if it's a turning point. Shots are 21-8. Favoring the Florida Panthers here with 7:38 to go in the second period, 3-0 Florida.
Boy, the hill is so high that the third one is just a killer. Here's another chance in front of the goal and a shot. That was stopped by the seat of the pants of Brandon Carlo, who was down on all fours at the side of the net.
Boy, the Leafs have got to turn it on here. This has been an onslaught.
Deflected down into the Florida zone. Bobrovsky out of the cage to find his defense. Forsling gets it ahead. And on the left wing, Sam Bennett is into the Leaf zone. Bennett trying to get around. Riley gets it into the far corner. Verhaeghe getting it back to the slot. A shot. That was kicked away by Wall. Puck along the far wing, but the Leafs don't get it out initially, but now do. Carried to center by Morgan Riley. Riley and over the line as Tavares goes to the front of the net, but a weak shot is taken easily on the chest by Bobrovsky and held for a face-off.
It's the second shot for the Leafs here in the second period, and I'll be honest with you, I don't remember the other one.
No.
Shots 13-2.
Gadjevic gets his second goal.
Remember, it was Gadjevic that Joseph Wall in Game 2 made that huge save off of. The Leafs holding on to a one-goal lead. Now, the other narrative, Joe, is going to be hanging in is that the Leafs can't score in these series-deciding games. Just one in Boston a year ago in Game 7.
Draw to the right of the Florida goal, controlled by the Panthers. Luosterainen getting it up on the boards, and it's cleared to the line, but not out. Kept in by Morgan Riley. His shot went wide. Leafs trying to get a cycle job going here to try and maintain some possession in the offensive zone. Domi back to Riley. Riley now to Oliver Ekman-Larsson, whose shot exploded off a leg. It goes around back to the net. Domi gets it back to the goal for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg back to Riley, a shot that was deflected. It goes to the line and out, and Jake McCabe has to go back to recover. Now trying to get in over the line on the right wing side. McCabe sends him around to the far side as Nylander is off the bench into the corner there. Willie ties his man up on the boards. Domi trying to dig it free. The puck in along the wall. Trying to chop at it now. Lorenz is the makeshift line out here at this point. Lorenz against the board, but can't come up with it. Panthers are going to just get it high to center ice and back into the Leaf end. McCabe being pressured, gets it back for Tanev on the right wing. Tanev with a quick pass and finds Scotty Lawton, who sends a long shoot in that is going to be covered up by Bobrovsky with 5:34 to go here in the second period. The Florida Panthers have exploded for 3 unanswered goals. It is 3-0 in favor of the defending Stanley Cup champions in Game 7. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Was that Mitch with a wake the fuck up there? Yeah, I mean, Mitch knows there's a lot riding on this game for him. Not just the series, but where he might be playing next year and how much money he might be making. That's all I got to say for that break. Blue snot. Go Leafs, go.
Happen here in the last 5:34 to have any kind of belief going into the third period.
Matthews, Pacioretty, and Marner. And the draw one and a shot by Marner deflected wide. As it's cleared out and down the ice now by Florida, but there won't be icing because it won't reach the end line. Oliver Ekman-Larsson takes his man to the boards. Marner couldn't come up with it. Now off Marner, he's able to stick handle with it, and the puck comes in front of the net, and the Leafs are going to bank it out at center, but Pacioretty couldn't handle it. Shot right back down into the Toronto zone. Wall giving it to Morgan Riley. Leafs are changing as the pass comes ahead for Marner, but he unable to deflect it, and it's brought back and driving the net. Seth Jones, who scores!
No goal and waving this one off. But I mean, I don't know how you wave it off. I think it's in before Jones makes contact with Joseph Wall. And even though they've waved it off, I have a feeling this one is going to count.
Well, we got no audio coming from the official, but they waved the goal off.
And Florida's going to look at this. I mean, I'll be honest, I just don't see it. I know Jones is falling and does make contact into the Leaf goaltender.
And let's see if the Panthers are going to challenge this. Part of the dissect.
Oh, you know what?
Is he kicking?
This actually goes in off his skate. I don't know if you'd call it a kicking motion, but now I thought it went in a lot cleaner than that, Joe.
Yeah.
But looking at the replay,
Well,
it's now goaltender interference as much as it is possibly a kicking motion. I just think he's falling, so that's not the kicking motion. I think because of the delay, it was the goalie interference that did not allow Wall to do his plays.
Why is the league reviewing the goal? Where'd the audio go?
Position.
they are looking at this. Is this a challenge by Florida? If it doesn't happen, the Leafs are going to get a power play out of this.
It's an NHL review, not a
No, we just saw up on the board that it's an NHL review.
All right.
But look, this.
Oh, yeah, no, well, yeah, it's not a...
Unless, I mean, I don't think you can say that he's being pushed in.
Well, his skate kicks at it.
That almost goes in off Wall. But the bottom line is there interference? And if there is, did he avoid contact? Was he on that line to make contact with Wall? Looks like Leafs are they didn't survive the third goal, but
What's up with your audio, guys?
Oh, comes back to Forsling. Forsling on the right wing side. Leafs being hemmed in their own zone again. Around the boards to the near side. Kept in now at the point. Forsling with a shot. Wall save. Rebound. Stopped by Wall again. And the Leafs finally get a hold of it, but nowhere to go with it. Because one of the Leafs has broken a stick, and that was Yarncrook. The pass went to Yarncrook, and he didn't have a stick. Panthers again with it on the far side. Back to the blue line for Schmidt. Schmidt shot deflects into the corner. Tired group here for Toronto. Here's Marchand. Centering in a shot is swallowed up by Wall. And mercifully, he will stop play.
boy, and through all the excitement coming back here after the Game 6 win, you can feel the crowd going from nervous to agitated. 25-10 the shots. I mean, the offensive zone time, any kind of assault, has been missing from the Leafs here in the second period. 3 goals in 6 minutes and 24 seconds by the Florida Panthers here in the second period of the Leafs on the brink.
71 attempts at goal by Florida. 30 for the Maple Leafs. That's ridiculous.
It's another simple play up the boards. Can't get it out. And
now the Leafs have iced the puck.
Now the Leafs needed a repeat of Game 6. And instead, it's been a repeat of Game 5. Still time. We've seen some miracles here in the postseason. But the offensive miracle, isn't usually from your own end.
They haven't showed anything since the first period near worthy of competition at this point.
And the
So
draw scrummed.
they're going to have to really find that motivation if they're going to turn this around.
Keeping it in, another shot deflects wide of the goal and back to the net to Kachuk. Kachuk with it again. Riley can't get to it. Now he does, and he gets it to Marner, and Marner, most he can do is just get it out. Now here's Matthews to Marner and across the line. Marner on the far half wall. Works into the corner, tries to center. It does come off the stick of Bobrovsky, but out come the Panthers again with Kachuk. Kachuk to the red line and just sending it into the Toronto zone. Round back of the net for Carlo. Leafs get it ahead and bringing it out is Scotty Lawton. Lawton to the line, trying to flip it in on the near side for Bobby McMahon. Cleared right back down the ice though by Florida. Tanner along the boards had it cut off by Luosterainen. Luosterainen around to the far side for Kulikov. He misses it. It goes down the ice. Trying to get to it with Pacioretty. He was too well covered, but the Leafs do come up with the loose puck. They'll shoot it wide of the net. Carlo on the near side, or at least McCabe is taken down. And now the Panthers getting it out at center. There's been just one power play in the game. That was in the first period on a too many men on the ice penalty. Minute 50 to go. Second period. Leafs get it out at center. Trying to chip it along the boards. It'll be shot down into the Toronto end. Out of the net is Wall. Tucking it along and back of the net. It'll go for Morgan Riley. Up ahead for John Tavares. Tavares to the line on the wing for Pontus Holmberg. A backhand went 10 feet wide of the net. Leafs unable to come up with it as it's played to center ice by Florida. Played ahead and backhanded to the line by Nyes, but he can't get it into the zone. Leafs will regroup it back in their own zone with a minute 12 to go in a disastrous second period. Oliver Ekman-Larsson will shoot it in. Round the boards to the near side. Shot back out at center. Cut off there by Marner. Marner will launch it high into the left wing corner, and Max Domi is in pursuit. Puck to the line. Got past Benoit and sails down into the Toronto zone. An icing call with 50 seconds left to go in the second period, and a draw coming in the Florida zone to the right of Bobrovsky. Jones, Lundell, and Gadjevich have scored the goals for the defending Stanley Cup champions.
I don't know about you, but this is what you expected in Game 6, or this is what I expected in Game 6 from Florida. The Leafs are excellent defensively, but here in Game 7, Panthers seem to have that cup swagger back again.
Draw won by Florida, and they get it out at center ice. McCabe hustling back, plays it around back of the net for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who gets it ahead for Domi. He can do nothing more than to chop it out, then gets it handed back to him. Domi getting it up on the left wing, and in over the line comes McCabe with a shot. Pad save made by Bobrovsky, and it's cleared back down into the Toronto zone. Oliver Ekman-Larsson around the boards, but not out of the Toronto end. Kept alive with a long shot that deflects into the corner. OEL with it again, and now looks up ice with just a dozen seconds left in the period. Right wing feed for Tatum. Tatum can't get in over the line. It's now shot in then by Yarncrook, and the final seconds are going to tick down. And hey, you can't blame the fans. They came with their voices, but a disastrous second period. The Maple Leafs have built a huge, enormous hill to climb for 20 minutes coming up in the third period.
Now, Leafs will eventually end up with 5 shots on goal here in the second, but they give up 17. And back on their heels the whole game. Costly turnovers, giveaways. And Paul Maurice, let's start throwing out numbers that you hope you can jinx. First of all, Sergei Bobrovsky hasn't had a shutout since Game 4 of this series. And Paul Maurice, we saw that stat when leading after any period. 26-0 with the Florida Panthers.
We will step aside as Jim Taddy is joined by Anthony Stewart.
what could be said about that? I know Leafs fans aren't feeling too good right now. Let's recap how I think we got here. Give credit to the Panthers. They are the defending champions. They have a lot of experience and a lot of work ethic. They showed it in the first period, the first several minutes. Then I thought the Leafs found a way to turn that momentum around, find their legs, and use the fans' loud cheers. Bring that energy. They were right in there with a lot of chances. They could have easily been up 3-0. Come second period, still scoreless. Panthers kind of start off the same way again, a lot of pressure. Then the Leafs starting to turn it back around again. And then you get the Mikko Mikkola high stick on the referee. Kind of a bloody scene, blood on ice, blood on the boards. Delays the game a good 5 minutes. Fans now sucked out of the building. Momentum's gone. The Leafs are going to have to find a way to bring it back. But they don't. Instead, the Panthers do. Morgan Riley chooses to pinch instead of coming back on D. Forces Brandon Carlo to make a choice and give the shooter to Joe. Joe doesn't make the save, opens the scoring. And then it was just downhill from there. The Leafs did that thing when they lose their momentum, they get gassed, and it goes to their head, and they start playing bad. And Florida, credit them, they took advantage and came back with a couple more goals. Now, if you heard the announcers, Paul Maurice and the Panthers are 26-0 when leading after any period. And they got a 3-0 lead right now. The Leafs have been known to score in flashes. They could definitely turn this around, but they're going to have the performance that they had in Game 6 plus, because right now they're having the performance they had in Game 5 or worse. Probably worse. Don't give up, Leafs fans. Don't get asked out like Carlo. Still got a chance. But yo, it's intermission. Get up, stretch the legs. Oh wait, I feel like I gotta bring it back 1 second. I want to hear what they're saying here about this no call or no decision when they decided not to challenge the goal.
Now, these are the bounces that went Toronto's way with this 3-0. Well, hate to say it, but they got a break to a certain degree, but nonetheless, like, I did not see this coming whatsoever. I did not see this coming. That's a goal, by the way. Yeah, it should have been. That's right. The only reason that Florida didn't challenge that is because of where they are in the game. It's 3-0, total control.
I thought they were talking about the other one.
There's no reason, but that's a goal. Okay, let's get to the meltdown. Emotional meltdown. We had lots of visual of different players and coaches. Can you?
Well, we're seeing a lot of it. And we haven't seen this all season long, this amount of intensity and edge. And Kel, you said you didn't see this coming. No. I think comparisons to Game 5, not only did they lose, but it was the manner in which they lost the game. And this, a similar description could be used tonight. This Marner play, and then afterwards, he has another giveaway. And it's just, you see them demanding more. There's such urgency that this is a tough thing for these guys to be going through, and I just feel like they feel like there's no time. You're in Game 7, and so for them, we've seen a composure, I think, and more of a trust in each other throughout the season. How they said things are different within the locker room from the coaching staff, but they need answers because they are getting outworked in every situation, every zone, and so something happens.
I mean, I want to bring it back to the goal that Toronto didn't challenge. Was it offside? They barely showed us a replay. I would have liked if Craig would have called a timeout on that play so he can go over the play at least to make sure. But nonetheless, that was the third goal. Might have been the dagger. The Leafs got a lot of talent, a lot of firepower. They don't seem to have a lot of gumption or pride or fight. They're going to need to find it if they want to win this. Season's on the line, and there's some roster spots on the line as well, so they're going to have to step up. It's intermission. Get up, stretch the legs, rehydrate, grab a snack, and come back and see what the Leafs can do in the third period.
To spark a comeback, and then we were talking offline. We've seen some big comebacks in the third period of Game 7, and it's got to be somebody doing something. Whereas we discussed offline, like it could get ugly really quickly.
It could, and we've seen the Leafs with sizable leads in Game 7 and not winning, and this is a reversal. I just don't know how Florida sort of steps off the gas, because they are absolutely just owning that defensive zone. The second line was -2, all of them. I mean, and it is the long change, but the second line just did not get the job done. Morgan Riley -2, Brandon Carlo -3. So, there are some parts of the team that just aren't functioning.
Some guys are struggling, but I think it's just sort of the byproduct of the way that Florida plays. They take away the body, and then they deliver that knockout blow. And all those hits are accumulating over how many games? Over the last 6 games.
Yeah.
Toronto's looking like a fatigue team, and they're making unforced errors. They're making these mistakes that they typically don't. But ultimately, they just feel like there's no will in the game. And for me, it's particularly frustrating because whether the game was 6-2 or 5-0 or 3-2, me as a role player, I had to go out there and try to create some energy. But in a game like this, where Florida, they're just coming out in waves. Another goal by their fourth line, another goal by the defenseman. Seth Jones is, having a career game tonight. He hasn't looked this good since he was with the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's just frustrating because you hear the crowd. You hear sort of the energy and sort of the expectations, and they're just not being met in any sense of the word.
Well, and that's with Joseph Wall pretty well standing on his head. He's made a lot of saves in this game. So I'm going to go back to this, and I've tracked this all through, and you've heard me do it. The shot attempts, 75 for Florida after 40 minutes of play, 32 for the Leafs after 40 minutes of play. I mean, that just tells you right where that puck is, and it's mostly in the Leafs zone.
Yeah, he's getting peppered.
Yeah.
and I wish I could sit here and break it down. It's just not good enough. It's just not good for Toronto. But it's just Florida. This team is built big, strong. They're pinching, but they're pinching with support, and they're just sticking to that system. And this, Paul Maurice, this is a fine-oiled machine, and they just play the game the right way. They suffocate you. They support the puck. They beat you up. I'm looking now. Bennett 6 hits. Greer 4 hits. Kulikov 5 hits. Reinhardt 4 hits. Tkachuk 4 hits. Like, that takes its toll. We've been talking about Tanev just taking a beating. He's looking like he's taking a step back just because the volume of what Florida's attacking on. So the one positive, I guess, is there's only way but up, I hope. I'm sure this is the time where you're going to see maybe a couple Gatorade containers getting flipped over, and I expect a much better response. And they're going to need one early. They're going to need one within the first 5 minutes. Toronto, if they have any chance of getting back into this game.
Yeah, so, what's different about the Florida game is they are hitting, but that's not their primary focus. They have the puck a lot. They're not, they don't mess around in the whistle with the scrum stuff. So it is a different looking Florida performance, but based on how they played in that first 6.5 minutes, they had to know that they could do that, revisit that again. And I guess I would be semi-stunned at the start of the second period by the Leafs, just because they had corrected that in the second half of the first period, and then to come out and do it all over again, and this time you got burned for 3 goals.
Yeah, Toronto easily could have had 2 goals in that first period, right? Breakaways by Lawton and who else had a breakaway there? I'm just checking my notes here quickly. Lorentz had a breakaway. Nylander had a couple opportunities, and in my head, I'm watching that second period. I'm like, the only thing missing, songs that they're playing is the Globetrotter song, right? Because they were up there just doing exactly what they wanted. I think I saw Brad Marchand circle around the net a couple times too. So again, I'm not trying to make light of a tough situation, but I've been here, but not in the game 7 of the second round with so much at stake here too. So there's guys, you got to play your way on the island, play your way off your island, play for a contract. You got to find some motivation coming into this third period, or this season can be done within 20 minutes for a lot of these guys.
Absolutely. 3-0 Panthers over the Leafs after 40 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs hockey. Wherever you are, we are right here. TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Florida. So, Leafs fans, I gotta ask you, how are we feeling now? We are getting closer to puck drop for the third period. The Panthers have been playing a dominant game. The Leafs have not been playing a hockey game. Apparently. They're gonna have to start playing. This is where we find out, are they any different? Or are they gonna roll over and die? Is this the last time we're gonna see these two together on a bench? Wearing the blue and white? A lot of speculation. Where's Willie? Where's Johnny?
The bottom line is they got to get one in the first 5 minutes. Get the crowd into it.
Dropped and it is shot down into the Florida zone. The puck along the boards is played up on the wall. The Leafs are going to have to try to pinch, and now here's Barkov getting it down into the Toronto end. He one-hands it into the corner. Round back of the net. Panthers with it again. Rodriguez getting it back to the left point. Kept in there by Mikkola. Round into the near corner. Knocked down on the play was Barkov, and the Leafs will get it airmailed high into the center of the
Icing.
game, and it's going to go the length of the rink. An icing call coming here against the Maple Leafs.
But Jake McCabe got away with an interference penalty there. Moments before the Leafs end up icing the puck. It's again one of those games like Game 5 where they can't make a play. It seems at either end of the ice. The D-to-D pass to get it out has been a struggle. And offensive zone time making plays there has been non-existent since the first period.
Puck in the Toronto end. Lorenz couldn't come up with it. Jake McCabe does.
We're gonna
Sends it
need the
back
fans to
Lorenz.
get loud,
He
guys.
Misfired on that. The puck
Support
is
your
allowed back
team.
to the goal. It's centered in front of Lorenz's stick. It comes back to the point again. Kept in by Florida. And their cycle
Defense.
game, their forecheck game is just something to behold. I mean, they get you in there and they move that puck around so quickly.
But in Game 6, the Leafs were quicker to the puck on the boards. And now what they're doing, everybody seems to be about 7 to 10 feet off the boards. And Florida gets in trouble, bring it around the boards. They're the first ones to get it. And the Leafs are chasing. It's almost the penalty kill mentality.
Yep. Played down into the corner. Tavares trying to play it out. Got it to the line, but it is shot right back in again. And now the Leafs have some time and space. Benoit getting it ahead, and Tavares comes to center. He'll get it down into the offensive zone, but Bobrovsky out of the goal, playing it around the boards. It'll come to the line, but not out. Played on a bounce into Bobrovsky, and he makes a very easy save on a cover. That'll bring a face-off in the Florida zone to the left.
And a pretty interesting combination here is Tavares, Nylander, or Tavares, Marner, and Matthews out. So you're using your three guys that you have on the power play. The 3 of your guys here to start. Matthew Nyes has not played a lot with Matthews and Marner. I wonder if he's laboring Joe.
Yep. Draw one by Florida. They're going to get it out of the zone as well. One-handed by Barkov into Toronto territory. Oliver Ekman-Larsson up on the wing off Tavares, but he gets it back again. OEL to the left wing side to Riley, who shoots it in. Bobrovsky trying to slow it up, but cleared back of the net by Mikkola. Near boards for Seth Jones. Mikkola along the wall, intercepted by Nylander. Back into the corner for Domi. Domi trying to come out of the corner, got it back to the point. D to D, it goes to the far side. A long shot by Brandon Carlo was blocked. And Jones will get it out at center and play it to the Toronto blue line. Quickly back the other way, though, for Domi. Domi in with a shot. He scores!
That's a start.
Needed one in the first 5 minutes. They got him.
coaching staff. The Leafs win the draw. Jake McCabe playing it back into his own zone. Can't pass to the backboard. He'll play it around in the wing for McCabe. McCabe getting it ahead and off the skating down into Florida territory, but it's going to be an icing call. It'll come back into the Leaf end. The Leafs on the board. It's 3-1. All of a sudden, Edwards looks more like Mount McKinley.
Still rather be in Alberta, yeah, from Saskatchewan.
Draw to the right in the Toronto zone. Panthers are huddling a little bit here. It's got the crowd back into it. Now the linesmen are getting some
Now they have to shovel something going on.
ice down in the Florida end. So they're going to have to wait here for a bit.
Which, of course, the Leafs don't need right now as you got the crowd into it.
Yep. Domi's third goal of the postseason.
And remember the last delay we had when Johnny Bear unfortunately was hurt. That was 15 seconds into the second period. And the loud crowd was out of it. And next thing you know, 6 minutes later, Florida's up 3-0. I mean, you're not blaming that or giving the Leafs an out or an excuse.
No, but it's true. It's a momentum killer.
Long shot goes wide of the Leaf goal.
Luckily, that was a short one.
Is going to be taken back to the goal, but now in traffic, it's grabbed off, and the Maple Leafs get it ahead. Here's Nyes launching it high for Pacioretty, trying to go wide. Pacioretty goes around back in the net, but can't come up with it. The puck comes free, and out comes the Panthers down the right wing side. Backhanded towards the net by Marchand. Upended there was Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and the pass deflected, scores! Oh my!
What the
All of the
fuck?
good feeling just went right out of the building again. Oliver Ekman-Larsson got interfered with in the corner and got knocked down. And then it turns over and a deflection gets by Wall. Yeah, maybe he wasn't. Was he interfered with? It's the player who knocked him down, too. It's
But here's just Brad Marchand gets over the line, diagonal, dump into the far corner. And Ekman-Larsson is...
Joe should have had that.
It's Luosterainen that takes him down, and then Luosterainen is the one that beats him to the net.
Never mind, it was a
For the
tip.
redirection. And nice little touch redirect on a shot from the left point, so coming in, blocker side on the wall, and just tapped in off the post and in.
47 seconds after the Leafs had gotten on the board. Played ahead and deflected down into the Florida zone. Bobrovsky out of the cage to get it into the corner. A body check thrown there by the Leafs. Lawton trying to get it out in front of the net. It's going to be launched high to the line, kept in momentarily, but cleared the center ice and lane into the Toronto zone. On back to the net now is Ken. Getting it up on the big line. Lawton trying to fire again. Blocked and now shot wide of the Toronto net. Domi from McMahon is the Leafs scoring play. But Luosterainen has the goal for Florida that regains the 3-goal lead. And for Luosterainen, that's his third of this postseason.
Well, so we're harkening back to Game 7 in Boston, May 13th, 2013, when Brad Marchand and the Bruins trailed 4-1 at home in the third period. That's all I got.
Well, it's better than what we've had.
It's been done, but
Yeah.
not this way.
Play it along the boards for Marner. Marner gives it back to the defense. He'll get it back again and then steer it into the corner for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Pass ahead, deflects in by Matthews, but it's going over the glass and out of play. And so a face-off coming back. Domi from McMahon, but Luosterainen from Marchand. That's his second point of the game. What an acquisition he has been to deepen an already.
And in this series, the guys that haven't faced a lot of criticism have been the likes of Sam Reinhart and Matthew Tkachuk, simply because
They're
of the
getting
depth.
scoring
Yeah.
from other areas. Yep. Puck down back to the Florida goal on the end boards. They battle along the wall. The puck finally comes free to Domi. Domi gets it back to the point. Morgan Riley, a pass in front of the backhand.
Willie shoots it at his leg.
Before it reached the goal. Cleared to center ice now by Florida. Riley going back. Riley up on the wing for Nylander. He can't handle the pass. And Marchand gets it in on the left wing for Nosek. His shot is into the chest of Wall. And it'll be smothered by the Leaf netminder and Hill. So the face-off in the Toronto zone.
Really, when you look at Joseph Wall's game, I mean, it's not a lot you could say he should have done differently. I mean, Seth Jones, the goal that opened the scoring, is the perfect under the crossbar shot over the right shoulder.
Draw one by Toronto. Played on the boards to center. Knocked back to the Leaf blue line. Leafs with it now in their own zone. Get it ahead for Lawton, who turns. Lawton coming with a pass that was blocked. Got to the line, but couldn't get it in deep. And the Panthers have it back in their own zone. Lawton into the forecheck with a hit there on Schmidt. But the Panthers get it to center and pound it off the glass and into the zone again. Round back of the net for Jake McCabe. McCabe with a long alley-oop that went nowhere. It's gone down into Florida territory. Matthews into the forecheck, rubbed his man out on the boards. Tavares after it as well, but can't come up with it as it played down into the Toronto end. Matthews, Tavares, and Marner for the Maple Leafs. Tannen circles around back of the net. Looks up ice. Finds Tavares available on the left wing. Roll to the net. Scooped easily up there by Bobrovsky to stop play and bring a face-off in the Florida zone with 14-13 to go in the third period. The Leafs scored at 2:07 of the frame. Domi from McMahon to cut the margin to 3-1. But then just 47 seconds later, Luosterainen from Marchand, and it is a 4-1 lead. Draw to the right of Bobrovsky. Won by Florida again. And Barkov just gets it into the Toronto zone, and a wholesale change of players for the Panthers. McMahon got in over the line but couldn't get around Jones's checking. Puck comes up on the left wing and out come the Panthers to center. Bennett sending it down into the left wing corner. Chopped it around the boards, it'll come to the near side. Domi couldn't get it out past the defenseman Ekblad. Centering pass in front, and the shot was blocked. And the Leafs have it again in their own end. Long rink-wide pass, Nylander stumbled and then ended up going to the bench. Panthers back in over the line. Play it in deep back of the net. Brandon Carlo around on the boards from Matthews. He gives the puck away, and a long shot is swallowed up off Kulikov's stick by Wall to stop play and take us to a commercial break. Florida 4, the Toronto Maple Leafs 1. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN.
How are we feeling now, Leafs fans? It's definitely not the game we wanted to see from these Leafs, but I imagine it's the game most of us expected deep down. They kept saying they were different, but they still found a way to disappoint. Not so different after all. They still got time to turn it around. Bring those frowns back around. Upside down. But so far, it's not how it looks, feels, or sounds. They don't look like they have their legs. I don't feel the momentum, and I can't hear the crowd loud enough. But credit the fans, they started out on fire. They gave the Leafs momentum. Just a problem with Toronto is holding on to that spark and letting it build into a flame and then into a blaze. They've proven in the past that they got the firepower to skull multiples. They're gonna need to find the strength in their legs now, and turn it around. Can it be done? We'll see.
And time running out.
And already showing Brad Marchand as the Bruin shaking hands with the Leafs after Game 7 wins. That's up on the monitor here in the booth, not on the scoreboard.
Marchand is a free agent this year, is he not?
Yep.
After this season. Marchand with a shot. That deflected wide of the Leaf goal. Creeping in at Glad to clear it around back of the net. Played ahead now, and now the Leafs Marner starting through center. Banks it ahead for Tavares, who gets after it into the corner and around back of the net. Riley will trap, send it wide, and that deflects to the far boards, and is quickly cleared to center ice now by Florida. Riley back in his own zone. Got it ahead and to the line for Tavares, but he can't get it in deep. Nylander is able to free it up. Jake McCabe with it now. Shot in over the line and down into the near corner. Tavares along the wall, pinned there. The puck is kicked free. Pacioretty couldn't get to it cleanly. Again against the boards. Tavares had it off his stick. Now played to the line, but not out. Fired back in then by McCabe, but it is punched out at center ice before being shot back in again by Toronto. Ekblad goes back of the net. Got it to his defense partner, Forsling. He plays it around to the left wing side. Trying to pinch there was Benoit, but it's out at center ice. Stolen back by the Leafs and brought to the line and in now by Pacioretty, who's upended. And no call from the official there. The Leafs have not had a power play in the game. Doesn't look like they're going to get one either. Played ahead by Toronto at center. Lawton can't get into the zone. The Leafs will try the other side. Chipped ahead. Lorenz gets in over the line on the right wing side. Tried to center, but it was blocked. Had it go off the back of the net as he tried to center it again. Riley is able to keep it alive. Back of the net for Lorenz in the near corner. Lorenz back to Riley at the point. D to D on the far side. Shot by Brandon Carlo, and by the rebound was chipped in front of the net, but the Panthers are going to get it out at center ice. Lorenz playing it back into his own zone to allow a change of players. Rocked to center ice by Nylander and in on the right side, trying to get through. Goes to the right wing side, dropped it off for Bobby McMahon. McMahon getting it back to the point. Riley on the left side, sends it to the net. That's blocked. There's a big rebound in front, but it's poked out at center, and a foot race now with A.J. Greer. Trying to get around Riley, and it was knocked away by the Leaf defenseman. A quick pass by Bobby McMahon, who shoots it back in again. He took a high stick in the face and no call, and the fans are upset by that. Right back down into the Toronto zone it goes. Played around the boards by Wall, but it'll be cut off, and a shot from a bad angle is handled easily by Wall to stop play.
No, Leafs have gotten a couple of breaks on these as well, but where Ford has really been able to take advantage of the officiating, and it's been equal. Is running interference
Not been equal.
And you saw it with Bobby McMahon there. We've seen it a number of times where they decide they're not going to call anything. We saw Jake McCabe, I thought, got away with one here in the third period and behind the net.
Remember a few years ago when they brought that rule in and how it was called all the time?
Oh, the interference, yeah.
Shot scores off the rebound on the faceoff. And that is going to do it. Reinhart scores to make it 5-1. And this has turned into
I'm going to call game over here, guys.
right off the faceoff.
Yeah, I mean, Leafs have lost, it feels like, the majority of the draws. They were only 46% success rate before losing this one, and as Sean Tavares lost it clean. to Barkov.
And the fans are leaving.
Sit down at the top of the left wing circle, but by the time he gets to it, there's a
Those are
lot
the
of
most
pressure
dedicated
from
Leafs
Joseph
fans right
Wall.
now.
And Reinhart, who's been quiet in the series, just 1 goal in the first 6.
And some jerseys are being thrown on the ice. And some cups. Wow. It's indefensible, right? It really is. And the booing is starting now with 10:26 to go in the third period.
And you wonder how many of these players is this booing going to be for the last time?
Played high to center ice into the zone. The Leafs can't get it in, and the Florida Panthers send it right back into the Toronto end. Joseph Wall is going to not be relieved, at least at this point, by Anthony Stolarz. A couple more jerseys have been thrown on the ice. The puck is still in the offensive zone. Linesman trying to get to it.
Yeah, I understand you're upset, but that's an idiot move for anyone to be throwing stuff on the ice. And
Play it in across the line, and it's offside. And a face-off will come in the center ice area with 9:36 to go, and Knies.
yeah, I think he's saying to Kachuk, if you want to go or you just want to chirp. And Kachuk goes to the bench to finish chirping.
5-1 Florida, 9:39 to play, third period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
I understand the fans' frustrations. I'm surprised they haven't started a goodbye Marner chant yet. Or a coulda had Miko chant. I don't know. That's where I'm surprised, but it doesn't surprise me that they're throwing jerseys on the ice. The Leafs have not shown in this game that they want it. This game is even worse than Game 5, which was likely the worst game I've ever seen this team play. So guess what? New worst game. It's sad. It's sad. You know, that's the way it goes sometimes. Clearly the Panthers are the better team. Or clearly there's something else going on behind the scenes. Have to change the name of this stream, I guess, because they ain't show no snot tonight. Unless they're a bunch of spoiled kids with runny noses. We just having fun. We gotta find a way to have fun with this one, right?
To go in the third period, and the Maple Leafs are having their noses rubbed in it. 5-1. The Florida Panthers are on their way to a date with the Carolina Hurricanes and the Eastern Conference Championship. And quite possibly a third consecutive berth in the Stanley Cup final.
Should be only the second team since the Edmonton Oilers in the early 80s to do it. And that was Tampa Bay.
Shot drilled at the net is caught by Bobrovsky off the stick of Jake McCabe.
You know, Joe, in the previous 6, you know, I know we keep talking about the core 4, but with this group that started to make the playoffs, there was 6 games winner take all, 5 game 7s, and then the game 5 against Columbus in the play-in series. And in those 6 games, the Leafs have scored 8 goals, 4 of them
in one game,
in a 7-4 loss to Boston. So now we're looking at, and that's, you know, what started this elimination game misery. So this is now 5 goals in the last 6
Puck down in the Florida zone. Chopped by McCabe along the boards, but launched high to center ice by the Panthers. Riley circling back in his own zone. Benoit got it up on the left wing, and Riley will deflect it to the line and in, but Matthews couldn't get free. Here's Bennett working back the other way. Bennett with a backhand, and he fired it just wide. Kept in at the left point with a shot that goes wide of the Toronto goal. Marner unable to get it out, and now Matthews does. Matthews to the line and in on the right side, mishandled the puck. And the Panthers have it again back in their own zone. The dissecting of what has gone on here will start immediately. And I use that term because the dissecting of this team,
It's a dead horse.
and organization to some extent, is going to start immediately upon the conclusion of this game. Tanev at the right point, trying to steer it along. Tavares working out of the corner. Tavares can't get a shot away. McCabe keeps it in for him. Back of the net, Pacioretty. Pacioretty couldn't get it out in front. Tavares now back of the goal. Drilled there and knocked down by Nate Schmidt. Panthers get it up on the left wing. One of the things you do know that's coming, Mr. Ralph, will be a Toronto power play with 3 minutes left. You know that's coming, right?
Nope, I doubt it.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Panthers going around.
I would like to see someone punch Marchand or Bennett in the teeth, though.
Boards and back around to the far side. Yarncrook freed it up for Jake McCabe. And it's played up on the wing right now, and now Lorenz couldn't get it out. A centering pass is intercepted, and a pass comes ahead, and out comes Scotty Lawton at the line. To Lorenz, back to Lorenz with a shot. Good pad save made there by Bobrovsky. 16 shots on goal for Toronto, 30 for the Florida Panthers, and as we mentioned, what the blocked shots and missed shots were, it is just a dramatic domination by the Florida Panthers in this 7th and deciding game. A centering pass, Domi's shot, that went high and wide. He's the only one that has scored in this hockey game. They made it 3-1, but then 47 seconds left. Another big spike was drilled into the coffin when Luosterainen restored the 3-goal lead to make it 4-1. And then off a face-off win, Reinhart has made it 5-1. And it is Nyes playing it down into the Florida zone. Nyes against the wall, got it back to the point. It comes to Riley at the point. A shot in traffic, went high and wide of the goal. Into the near corner it goes. Marner trying to send it to the net. That went wide. And it's going to carry him to the far board, but brought to the line, but not out. Nyes keeps it alive. Back of the net for Matthews. Trying to get in front. He was tackled there by Kulikov. The puck does come out in front, but the Panthers have played it off the boards and get it out and down to the Toronto zone. 5:40 to go. And I'm sure the coaching staff is hoping they'll just play running time here as it comes to center ice again. Leafs are getting a change in. McCabe got it ahead for Domi, on the wing for Nylander. Nylander in across the line, centered it. McMahon was knocked down in front of the net. At the point, a shot doesn't make it through. Domi in the corner, centers. Pass off the pad of Bobrovsky. Played high off the glass to center ice by Florida. Well, Paul Maurice has certainly dictated how this team is going to play. As Matthews gets across the line, got a shot in on goal. That was stopped by Bobrovsky, and the rebound cleared out at center ice. It's not fancy, but it is extraordinarily effective. They just do not play in their own end of the rink.
Well, first 2 games of the series they did. The Leafs were able to generate off the offense. They looked quicker. And it's always easy to go back and circle certain moments. But you look at 2-0 lead early in game 3, a 3-1 lead. midway through the second period of Game 3. It ends up with Brad Marchand banking in an overtime goal off Morgan Riley. Is that the game that made it, that was going to be the swing for them?
It is 5-1 here with 4.5 minutes to play in the season. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050.
Stay plugged into the pulse of pop culture.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, to lose, yeah, I think a lot of us knew it was coming. To lose this bad, I think a lot of us hoped these days were over. But I guess it's just the way it is. I guess this team just doesn't have it. And the team, I mean, there's a lot of players that have shown a lot of gut during these playoffs and during this season. But when we come down to the games where they were really bad in this series, then we gotta look at the no-shows and the mistakes. So I have to point the fingers at Mitch, Willie, Morgan, Austin, and Johnny. Where are y'all?
Live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the
How soon before the Leafs pull the goalie and get another one scored on them? Let's find out.
Sirius XM app.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favourite team.
Four and a half minutes left in a very disappointing, troubling Game 7. And goaltender Joseph Wall is headed to the bench.
Just like that, with 4:20 left. Let's make it a 6-1 game.
Attackers now for the Maple Leafs. It'll come back to the point. Riley's shot was high and wide of the goal. And the Panthers get it up.
Hey, why don't we give Bobrovsky a goal here?
Here's Matthews with it, spinning it off the boards and around back of the net for Nylander. Domi got it.
Let's put some insult on this injury.
Near corner for Tavares. Tavares taken to the boards. Even with 6 attackers, there's 2 Florida Panthers on every leaf. And it's cleared to the line, but not out. Kept in there by Marner. Marner sends to an open corner. Domi after it again as it's pounded off the boards, and it is chipped to center. Rodriguez gets it in over the line, and Marner goes back for the puck. Marner starting it out with a pass ahead at center. Drop back into the Toronto zone for Jake McKay. Up ahead for Marner and onto the left wing side for Bobby McMahon. He was spun around. The puck into the far corner is going to be launched high towards the empty net, but it is Marner getting back to grab it off. Marner trying to play it off, and another jersey thrown on the ice. Played down into the corner now along the boards now for Yarncrook. Played back off the stick. It goes poking along the boards, intercepted by Marchand. He sends it to the empty net and scores.
Oh, sure, it would have to be the Rat.
Well, there's insult to injury.
Yeah, a little over the top celebration, I think, too, for a 6-1 empty netter. But Marchand reveling in being the most hated man in the postseason. Wall goes back in, 31-19 the shots.
And this score mirrors what happened a couple of games ago.
You really thought, in this game, Leafs get outshot 7-0 in the first half of the opening period. Then they started to come. They had some opportunities, and you thought they're going to be all right. And then, bang, 3 goals in less than 7 minutes early in the second period by Florida. And the Panthers do what the Panthers do, right? Just frustrate you and shut you down.
Shot swallowed up by Bobrovsky off the stick of Benoit. 2:46 left to go in the third period.
And you understand the frustration of fans. But like I said, you start throwing stuff on the ice. That's taking idiocy to the next level.
I mean, that's easy. That's really easy for you guys to say because you get paid to do what you're doing. The fans dedicate their time and money and buy those jerseys. They have a right to throw them if the players aren't playing, which they have not been.
And he will stop play with 2:33 left to play in the season. Well, Mr. Ralph.
How else are they supposed to show their distrust and hatred and disappointment? This is how, guys.
Forward to being back with you next year. All things considered, hopefully it'll be...
Is it 28 or 29 we've wrapped up together?
29?
Yeah. Wow. So I did go back and look at that Pittsburgh series in '99 when Lonnie Bohannes got in the lineup against Pittsburgh. 6 points in 6 games against the Penguins. 3 goals and 3 assists. And something the Leafs needed was somebody to get hot here in this series, and really nobody was what you consider hot.
Marchand gets the puck into the goal crease, and Wall will cover up on it.
And now somebody had thrown a cup or something, and that's
like a beer or whatever, and it's all the way out into the middle of the rink, but they're not even going to take the time to scrape it off at this point.
How smart of you to spend $30 on a beverage and throw it onto the ice.
Face off in the Toronto zone. Launched to center ice. Knocked back by a glove pass to stop play. Pretty sure the officials just let things kind of roll here. I don't really think we need to be...
Yeah, well, I know we said coming into the playoffs, this team is different. But are they going to be better? And
the team is different. The core is not.
Shelf with the list of previous heartaches this group has taken us through.
Nylanders. Yeah. Oh, Mitch Marner's contract up. John Tavares' contract up. A lot of speculation that will see at least Marner going elsewhere.
Yeah. And then, you got a different pool to choose from. Who would want to come here?
Well, that's the part that I was going to say. I mean,
Sam Bennett.
The way and what we're seeing too here with how the fans are reacting and everything. But you know what? I'm pretty sure that if this was in Boston and it was the same thing, you're going to see the fans being as upset or anything else. You can't really blame them for it. It's been so long that the frustration has been there that just will not subside until someone actually does something to get them over the hump. Yes, they've made the playoffs every year. That is something to hang your hat on, but once you get here, you got to do something.
Yeah, eventually you got to hang your jacket on something, right?
Yeah. Well, Mike Ross is about to give us the news that this season is coming to a close.
Last minute of play in the third period.
Puck is in the Toronto zone. Panthers push it into the corner. And around back of the net, the Leafs will get it up on the wing and get it out at center ice. Back into Florida territory. Chip back in over the line. Not many folks left in the building, and it's hard to disagree with that. A very, very disappointing effort by this team.
Well, 2 of the last 3, right?
Yep.
1 very good and 2 horrible. And not often are you allowed 2 horrible games in the playoff series when you come out on top.
Not when it's the 2 of the last 3 games of a series, that's for sure. Pounded out at center, final 10 seconds ticking down. And the Maple Leafs season will come to an end, and congratulations to Paul Maurice and his Florida Panthers, who are moving on to tangle with the Carolina Hurricanes. That series will start Tuesday night. And the Maple Leafs season comes to an abrupt and embarrassing end here. demonstration and a dominance. If you look at the one side, yes, the Leafs were bad, didn't do, but Florida just dominates you offensively in the offensive zone. They just keep you in there all the time.
But not for the first two and a half games.
Okay, no. But when they got their game going,
or when somebody gave up theirs. And, you know, I think when you looked at the first two wins at home, you thought, you know what, they're exposing something. They're getting pucks out quickly. They're getting on a forward check. They're creating off the rush. And it just seemed to be more than execution. I mean, it's more people are going to say it's more on the Leaf side, this result, than it is the Florida side. But I think it's a 50-50 combination. Florida Panthers are that good. But to lose like this twice at home, and you know, and even having the chance to close out Ottawa and being shut out, you know, there's 3 games where you could have done something substantial at home ice, and you score 2 goals in the 3 games, and you're outplayed badly.
interesting interaction between Anthony Stolarz and Sam Bennett. Bennett's elbow, or the shot that hit Stolarz earlier, forced him out of the playoff series.
Yeah, I mean, I still believe, going back to that, it was the shot that they had in the first period. That was the first hit. Bennett's, I think, was the second one. And, you know, you get 2 headshots in a short period of time. It's going to do damage. So I don't think Bennett tried to avoid him. But I also think that initial shot, you saw Anthony Stolarz shaking his head, trying to shake it off in the first period. Did most of the damage, but you're right. It's interesting to see, like Bennett did come out and say we were teammates.
Yep.
He's a good friend of mine. I called him. There was no intent, but unfortunately, Anthony Stolarz does not make a difference in the last 3 games of this series.
No.
Unless he was playing forward.
No. Well, he and Bobrovsky having a final chat, and Joseph Wall will shake hands with Bobrovsky to end the handshake. And what's left as far as the Leafs fans are concerned are here. And the Leafs are going to head off here after a humiliating 6-1 decision against the Florida Panthers. And, well, the dissection and the autopsy of all of this will start almost immediately. And it is going to be interesting to see what happens between now and next September when they gather for training camp.
Yeah, I mean, still a big part for me, the first 10 minutes of this game, right? You would have thought that's usually where the visitors have to, you know, withstand the early onslaught of the crowd and the energy. And Florida, right from the opening face-off, dominated the first 10 minutes of this hockey game.
7-0 in shots.
7-0 in shots. The Leafs had no offensive zone time. But then you thought, hey, maybe the Leafs, you know, they survived it, then started getting some opportunities of their own. You thought they're going to be okay. And then second period, it starts with a bad pinch, goal by Seth Jones, and it was as if that's all it took. It was 1 goal, 1 to find the net. And, you know, it was a house of cards, it seemed, after that.
Well, we will step aside and allow Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart to take you through the post-game show. It is not a nice one. The Leafs drop a humiliating 6-1 decision to the Florida Panthers in Game 7 and are eliminated from postseason play. We want to thank all of you for being with us throughout the course of this season. We look forward to being back with you hopefully at the start of next season. And until then, we will tell you that you've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Sports.
Well, I'm not going to ask how we're feeling because it's kind of obvious right now. Embarrassing is an understatement. Humiliated is an understatement. The first 2 games of the series, they looked alive. Game 6, you could say the same. And those are the only 3 wins, right? But the saddest part is Game 5 and Game 7. Unacceptable, play. I don't blame the fans for being as mad as they are. I'm surprised more jerseys weren't thrown on the ice. Watch the season, Maple Leafs fans. Blue Snot, Go Leafs Go live remix. Will we return next year? Well, I'll tell you, if we do, we might have to show up with bags on our head, especially if they bring back this full core. We'll see what happens. A lot to take apart, digest, dissect. Unfortunately, the Leafs did not give their best effort, and a lot of the superstars gonna have to own that. Peace out, Leafs fans. Until next year.